I didn't believe in what either party was espousing. I mean, I don't think it's like I mean, you're a conservative fellow
Yes.
and you voted for Trump's, right?
The great white hope.
Dude, it must have felt great. Did it feel
And
good?
you know my dream team?
Do you remember like
May I tell
waiting
you
in
who my
line voting
dream
for
team?
Trump? You must have
May
been
I tell
so
you who my
excited.
dream team are?
Who?
Donald
LeBron,
Trump,
MJ, Kobe, Steph Curry,
Netanyahu, and Putin.
Netanyahu, and Putin. For what?
The
To
dream
do what?
team.
To what? Like go out and get pussy on a Friday night together? Sorry, I shouldn't say stuff like this. You're a man of God. Um,
But listen, why did
Dream
you
team
vote
in
for the
what
great white
sense?
hope?
What's the point? What's the point of it?
Did you vote for
I mean,
that?
you
Did you vote for that what her name? Camilla?
Camilla Parker Bowles. No, I didn't.
So you didn't
I
vote
didn't
at
want
all
to.
in this.
What's the point? It's the Democrats win in New York State. It's just like it's stupid because of the electoral college. It's like you don't your vote doesn't really you don't have to vote. I voted like it's kind of not a I mean it's stupid that like in a swing state like it matters and then in like New York it doesn't really matter, right?
But had you voted for the president, you'd be voting for Donald Trump, not New York.
In New York State for the electoral college, yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. So
Yeah, but
let me
I didn't want to vote for Trump. I think he's funny, but like I like I what is it like yeah, I mean, what's the advantage for that? I don't
to
know. I
make
think people should go to the doctor, right? And
To make America great again.
all right, fine. But like I just like if he was like everyone can get health insurance, I might have voted for him, sure.
Oh, so you believe in socialism?
In what sense?
Do you support socialism, period?
Do you think that Kamala was socialism? Are you
But
one of those guys?
but you didn't answer the question yet. Do you support socialism,
In what sense?
period?
I think, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that you should view history in terms of who has things and who doesn't. Sure, yeah,
Why is that?
it makes sense to me.
Why is
Yeah,
that?
like who's like who has the resources and who doesn't. It makes sense.
But most people that don't have it, they don't have it because they don't want it, because they know that there are people out there like you that support socialism and that you're going to give it
Who
to them.
supports social? We no one actually does.
Yeah.
There's no there's no political party that actually does.
There are people who
You
rely on
rock,
people to
dude.
give
You
them stuff
rule.
and they
I love
support
you, dude.
socialism.
Wait, who does
Oh,
though?
uh,
Who
right
in
now,
the government does?
I'm sorry?
Like, but who in the government is doing that?
The rhino Republicans, the Democrats,
They're doing socialism?
they're supporting it.
Which ones?
You know which one. Which one?
I seriously, I don't know. There
Yeah,
are socialist Republicans?
yeah, the rhinos are. But
Who are the
because of time,
rhinos?
let me ask you this.
No, no,
You
I'm not trolling you. Who are these guys though?
I'll tell you later. Let me ask you this.
You're all, you can't, come on.
Let me ask you this question.
You don't actually think
I
anyone
just
is a
told you the
socialist in the government.
rhinos.
Who is it though?
The rhinos.
You're awesome. You're like my friend's dad is exactly like you. And he's the best, dude. He's got a boat. He says things like my boat, my rules. He says stuff like that. He's
Right
the
on.
best guy.
Right on.
But
So
I have no idea what he's talking about. That they're stuff like this. There are socialists in the Republican Party.
so let me ask you this. What's wrong with the
Yeah.
blacks?
What do you mean? What's wrong with blacks?
What's wrong with the blacks?
Well, I don't know. What are you talking about? Well, they're I don't know. They're what they've given us incredible culture.
Like what?
The America, yeah, they're like America's got the best culture because we have cool black people.
What type of incredible culture they've given you?
I mean, everything.
Like what?
Jazz,
Music?
rock and roll. Yeah.
Oh. And what else?
Sports?
What?
Sports?
And what else?
Entertainment?
Okay. So they can dance and
Art?
they can dance and they can sing.
Yeah, America lets them do that, but they don't give them anything else.
And why do we need to give them anything?
What do you mean?
What else should
What
we
are you
give them?
trying to get me to do right now? I'm not going to tell you this. Ugh. Jesse, what are you doing? Listen,
I'm just trying to
I'm not a
understand you.
fucking. I'm not a. What do you think? I'm a political scientist, sociologist here. Ask me what's wrong with the blacks. You tell me what's wrong with the blacks. You're the guy that you go on TV, right, or on the internet. You're like, I'm black, and I think that black people stink, right, or suck.
No, I say I'm black and I'm slow.
You're slow,
Yeah.
and then there are white guys that watch it, and they're like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Do black guys
And
go
I'm
to your
like,
church? Or
amazing.
it has a. The majority of your church is white guys, right?
No, all races.
All races.
Yeah.
But you think
I
that
gotta ask
there
you
have
about.
to be some.
Hey, I gotta
There have
ask you
to be
about the
some
mama
guys that
show you
hear
have.
that. There
I
have
got-
to be some guys that hear you say that, and it feels so good for them, but not in a wrong way.
What do you mean?
You're criticizing, like I criticize Jews all the time, right? Like I think that it's wrong that we're like at war with what is the like this? It's a nightmare, this whole thing, right? I'm critical of it, right? But I have a right to be because I'm Jewish, right?
Right.
So if you are critical of black people, it's in the same way because you're a black man in America, right? But you don't think that they're like white fellas hearing that, and that they're like, hell yes, but not in the same way as you saying it.
What
You
way
don't think that they're like a little bit like they're not like it's like when Chris Rock has that joke. There are two types of black people. There's black people and then the N word, right? Like a black guy laughs at that because he has like a cultural understanding of it. But then there have to be white guys that are like, hell yeah, dude. That's what I've been saying, dude. But it's not the same type of processing of it.
But what way?
Right?
I don't understand that.
Why?
I don't.
Because you know about your shit. I know about my shit.
But I don't know what
Right?
you mean by that, though.
Oh, that I think that people.
So let's say if Chris Rock said that, and I laugh, and the other black people laugh.
It's not on Chris Rock. It's not on Chris Rock to censor himself, right?
Right.
It's his
That's right.
joke, right?
And so
But
when he
what I'm
says
saying
it,
is,
when he says it, and I laugh, and the black and the white people laugh, what's the difference between the laughter?
because
I'm not stay forever
when
to match.
you say that black people suck,
Match
right?
make.
As a black guy,
Right.
you say it because
It's
you
usually
have a
pretty fast.
frustration with people that you've grown up with, and I'm not saying you're right or wrong, right? But you have an experience as a black guy, right? But don't you think it's a question? I don't know what the answer is,
Right.
but don't you think that there's some white guys that are saying it because they're like just don't like black guys. That they kind of like it, but not for the. You're saying it because you have an experience, and they're saying it because they have that appeals to them because they have a prejudice, probably, right?
Because it's
Why
funny.
am I talking about this on the internet, Jesse? Why are you making me? I have to plug my computer in.
What are you doing?
My computer's not plugged in.
Oh, it's a funny. So if it's funny,
Why are you asking me, some freaking low IQ comedian in New York City, what's wrong with the blacks? This is your thing. This is what you've gained a claim for this.
But listen, if Chris
no,
Rock,
you listen, Jesse. I'm keeping you honest right now because I think you're a good guy.
If Chris Rock made a joke like that, and I'm sitting there, it's funny, and there are white people in the same audience, and they laugh about it too, why are the laughsters different? They're laughing at a joke.
I'm saying if you're saying that black people are no good, right? You're saying it in a different way, and someone that thinks that without without the same understanding as you, right? I'm not even saying you're right. You shouldn't snitch too. You're a snitch. You shouldn't do it,
Damn.
dude.
What do you mean?
Because it's just like not in front of them.
Front of who?
Not in front of them.
Whitey.
You know,
No, I don't.
like sometimes for the
In front
Jews
of
too.
who?
Sometimes like it's a little bit like, like don't be so embarrassing in front of the Gentiles, right?
Right.
That's like a notion we have in our minds, where it's like we're all so embarrassing. We're like obnoxious. We talk too much. We're obsessed with ourselves.
But when you say not in front of them,
sometimes it's just like let's not in front of them. Let's tone
when
it
you
down.
say not in front of them, who are
We're
you referring
embarrassing
to?
ourselves. So, but you're doing it in front of them.
In front of who?
I think you're a good guy, Jesse.
Adam. In front of who?
Guys that don't like black people.
But there are a whole lot of black people that don't like black people. How would I know?
I'm not saying that.
How would I know?
What I'm saying is does it feel like do you feel like that there have to be some guys that don't get what you're saying, but get off on what you're saying?
I never think about that.
If you say that.
I never think about that.
Why not?
Why
but
should
that's
I?
a moral thing.
Why should I?
Because you're a man of God. Because you're a man of God.
What?
It's a moral quandary, right? It's a moral quandary. So Chris Rock has that moral quandary. He says, if I tell this joke, maybe people will laugh at it in a different way, right? That's a moral quandary. So, but what I'm asking you is if you've processed that moral, like in that same sense.
I never.
And I'm not saying it's you. I believe in the First Amendment. Say whatever you want to say.
Oh, let me ask you this. Because of time.
Yeah.
So if I went to one of your shows.
This is so embarrassing. This whole thing has been embarrassing, but I feel like I really like you as a guy.
Let me ask.
Yeah.
Ask.
Go ahead.
If I'm at your show and you're making jokes about the Jews, right? And
myself, kind of, yeah.
Right,
But
you're making jokes about the Jews, and I'm cracking up. Should I be laughing or not?
It's interesting. I've had that question. It's like, did people in like the Midwest watch Woody Allen movies? Because those movies got like wide distribution, right? But it's like, who the hell wants to see that crap? I get it. I'm like, that stuff makes so much sense to me, but it's like, it's so like, I can't imagine that it would appeal to other people.
Should I be laughing if you're making Jewish jokes?
Jewish, like what sense? Like Jewish people
at
or
one
what?
At one of your shows, and you're up making jokes, and they're really funny.
I'm mainly making fun of myself.
And let's say that all the Jews are laughing, they're cracking up, and I'm sitting there and I'm wondering, should I laugh or not?
It's a similar question,
should I laugh?
Right?
Should I laugh?
But I guess I don't do Jewish jokes.
I thought you said you did.
I do Jewish, like self-deprecation, right? So making fun of yourself is like a self-deprecation. It's like it's an aspect of comedy that, like, a lot of Jewish guys.
But let me ask, because of time, I got to keep moving here. If you're making Jewish jokes in an audience full of Jews,
what kind of Jewish joke? But I'm not. That's not what I said. I make fun of myself.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Which is a Jewy thing to do.
So if you make a Jewy joke,
I'm not like.
If you make a Jewish joke, should I laugh in a Jewish audience?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this: You have a show called. You have a show called. You host a show.
Did I answer your question?
Didn't.
Oh, go ahead.
He's gonna get me.
Jesse, you could have pressed me on that. I was vulnerable. You had me on the ropes right there, and then you moved on.
But I'm not trying to have you on the ropes.
Holy shit!
You know what you did? You turned the other cheek, much like this guy from Nazareth.
So let me ask: Should I, if I'm in the audience and you making a bunch of Jewish jokes. You know.
What? You keep saying Jewish. I mean, the main Jewish joke is my face that people have to look at.
And should I laugh?
I mean, if you think that my nose is how revolting I look is funny, absolutely laugh at me.
Well, how about if you say, I have a
What
Jewish...
do you mean? What is a Jewish joke? Can you explain what that is?
I don't know. You're the comedian.
You keep saying Jewish jokes. I just don't understand what you mean.
But I thought you said that you made Jewish jokes.
I said that I do self-deprecation.
Okay, I got you now. I'll have you now.
Okay,
But let me
I'll give you an
ask
example.
and give me a quick answer because of time. If
No, I don't want to stop talking to you. We got another hour, baby.
So let me ask: if you should make a Jewish joke, and I'm in the audience with a bunch of Jews, should I laugh?
Okay, help me out for a second. I'm not. Help me out for a second. Could you please tell me a Jewish joke so I can understand what you mean?
Jews love money.
Is that a joke? What are you talking about? That's a joke?
But should I laugh about that? If you made that joke, and I'm in the audience,
should you laugh about Jews love money?
What?
Tell me a Jewish joke. Listen, you're a free speech conservative. I'm not sensitive. I'm a comedian.
Right.
I believe in the First Amendment. So just tell me. You have to know one.
I just told you one. You didn't say it was funny.
Jews love money is not. It didn't have the structure of a joke. It didn't have a setup. It didn't have a punchline.
Jews have a big nose.
Jesse, you're funny. I believe in you. Okay. I'm encouraging you because I think that what's more
listen to me. I gotta move on. I need you to answer this question for me. You have a show called Mama. You host a show called Funny Moms.
Big Mama's House.
And
yeah.
Have you ever met any moms or women who are funny?
My mom was really funny, but the answer is no. No women on earth are funny. Absolutely not.
Amazing. And so
it's just black guys and Jews, which is our dynamic, Jesse. This is marketable.
I agree with you on that.
You got to stop with this doing it in front of the whites. I'm not going to do it in front of the Gentiles. We're gonna stop with that, and we're gonna start like a comedy team, the two of us.
Okay.
It's think about it this way: an odd couple is the most classic comedy combination you could have.
I can't wait to ask you this.
Can you imagine? We both get divorced, and then we get an apartment together, right?
Let me ask.
And I'm a Jewish guy. You're a Christian black guy, right? And I'm like sloppy, and there are women coming over. And you're a neat freak, right?
No,
and you're like,
not
listen,
at all.
Are you having women coming over?
I'm not junky. I mean, I'm not neat at all. You got to remember, I'm black and slow, so I'm too lazy to be neat.
Okay, so you are a mess, and you're having girls coming over constantly, and my family's and I'm like, Jesse, it's Passover, and you're just like having loud coming out of the other room, and I'm like, you're having such loud sex. My family's over. It's a Jewish holiday.
Adam, let me ask you this: what is
I'm sorry.
What is Funny Moms about, and how did that come about?
Oh, it's just like
whoa! How did I walk right into him?
I do weekly. So I've been doing it for years.
So you make jokes about mothers?
No, it's just a stupid name for a stand-up show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's just you got to come up with a stupid name for a show. Hot Soup, Funny Mom.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
It's just it's with stand-up.
And so, Adam, were women created to lead or to follow?
What?
Were women created to lead or to follow?
To follow?
Yeah.
Do you have a lady that follows you?
No, I'm asking you, were women created to lead or to follow?
I don't know. What do I know about? I don't want to fucking pop off about this is the way it is. What do I know? Girls get mad at me all the time. You try to manage it, and you try to understand them. Like I said to you before, sometimes they'll have a dream, and then they'll be like, "You did something in the dream, and now I'm mad at you in the morning."
Right.
And it's like it's a freaking dream. It's not the real world.
Yeah.
They do stuff like that all the time.
And why are
but
they
it's
so
just,
crazy?
I don't know. Then you be gay. Then if you don't want to deal with it. Seriously.
So were they
We
created
put up with it because we love them.
Were they created to lead or to follow?
I don't know what that means.
Oh, okay.
Who created?
So
God? In the Garden of Eden. You mean like that?
yeah.
Did that happen? I don't know.
So you don't.
I think it's a story, right?
Oh, so do you believe in God?
I hope so.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, it'd be really sad if it wasn't.
Yeah, amazing. So listen, I gotta put you on the hot seat. We're running out of time. I gotta put you on the hot seat. So I need you to answer.
I wasn't on the hot seat?
What?
I feel like I've been on the hot seat this whole time.
No.
This feels like this is Guantanamo Bay. You got me in Abu Ghraib prison, Jesse.
No. So I need you to answer these questions as quickly as possible.
Ah!
All right?
Okay, I guess so. I signed the release because you don't trust me. So
I was hoping I'd blend in.
The hot seat.
Are you woke?
What? No. What does that mean?
What is a man?
Guy?
True or false? Jewish men are mama's boys.
What does that mean? Are you mama's boy?
True or false? Jewish men are mama's boys.
You said your mom was annoying or something? She frustrated you? This can't be so one way, Jesse. I'm not going to show you my whole soul and you're not going to give me anything.
Let me ask. I need you to answer these.
Mama's boy, I am for sure. She's the best lady.
Do we need more white? Do we need more white babies?
Why?
What? I'm gonna decide. Do we need more white babies? Do you think that? You say that kind of thing to people and they give you money? Jesse, you're incredible.
Do we need more?
And they buy
Adam,
it. Wait.
Adam, do we need more white
do you
babies?
Say that? Wait.
Adam, we gotta move down this line quick as possible. Remember?
Wait. I need your answer right now.
Remember, you're Jewish. Follow instructions.
The police. No. You can tell me as a guy that likes me, that we're friends. You can tell me if you think that.
What?
More where? In America?
We definitely need more white babies to the point that July.
Why do you care?
Listen, Adam. July is White History Month. Did you know that?
What is that?
Did you know that July is White History Month?
No.
Yeah, I started White History Month 7 years ago.
Cool.
And we celebrate White History Month every July.
They love it. These guys, you're amazing.
And you know what?
You started it for white people?
I started.
What am I going to start Muslim month for Come on, bro. Stop sucking up.
Adam. And you know
Jesse,
what?
You're a freaking suck up.
Adam.
You got to stop sucking up to these people.
Adam, you know
what?
Adam.
Jesse, they say please and thank you and don't mean it.
Adam.
You can tell. Like the proper whites,
Adam.
they open a door for you and they're like,
Adam.
excuse me, and you can tell they don't mean it.
Adam.
Don't suck up, you teacher's pet.
You know why I started White History Month?
I don't know.
To get some pussy? Tell you why?
Why?
Because July just feels white.
Why? You thought that was a joke?
You have vacation time. You have summer. You have.
Why is that white? You're such a suck up. It's crazy.
You have the 4th of July.
What did you do? Like,
Adam, let's move on down the list.
Our teacher is the best. Jesse, you're amazing.
Adam, is America the best country on this side of heaven?
Heaven? Side of heaven? Is there a country on the other side? Yeah, I mean, like we've done the best like movies. We've done the best songs.
Yeah. So Adam, Did you
That's
take
cool.
the
We also
jab?
did the atomic bomb. That was pretty bad. But like, yeah, I mean, we do sick things. And it's because you know what it is, Jesse? It's because of black guys, Jewish guys, Catholic people.
So let me
Not
ask.
the guys you're sucking up to
You
for
gotta
giving
move
them White
faster,
History Month.
man. Did you take the jab?
Did I take the jab?
Yes.
What is that?
The Chinese virus thing. The jab for the Chinese virus.
The what?
The jab. So let's go to the next one.
Oh, the vaccine? Did I take the vaccine?
Yes.
Yeah, I got, but I didn't boost it.
Okay. Does the bear
what
does
happened?
the bear shit
Am I
in the
gay
woods?
now? Is it gonna make me? I'm gay now.
Does a bear shit in the woods?
Yeah, I guess so.
Is the earth flat or round?
Round.
Did
Are you flat, Jesse?
did human beings evolve from monkeys?
Well, fucking no, dude. Yeah, they did. I think so. From primates, yeah.
True or false? Sending your child
Uh-huh.
to a public school is child abuse.
False. False, for sure. What do you mean? Like, they need to, in public school, you get bullied. In private school, like, there's no bullying. They become sociopaths.
We got to keep
In
moving.
public school, no, Jesse,
Sure.
talk to me real quick. Pastor, in public school, you're terrified to get called gay, and that makes you strong, whether you're gay or not gay.
Right.
Right? Right? In private school, these kids are coddled and like told that they're can you imagine if you weren't terrified in 6th grade? You wouldn't become the great man you are today.
So let me ask: Is it?
That went nowhere. Cut that.
So are you saying that sending your child to a public school is child abuse? Oh, yes or no?
No way.
It's not. Okay.
No way.
Let me
What am
ask.
I gonna pay? I'm gonna pay 50 grand for an 8-year-old. What a ripoff.
So is it ever okay to
What
call
are these fucking little princes
Is
going to
it ever
private
okay-
school?
Is it ever okay to call a woman fat?
Like, if she's not there, yeah, I'll say she's fat. I mean, it's probably not nice to a person. I don't want to be mean to a person.
Right. And
But sometimes I'll be like, who's that fat girl that was
do you love white people?
Do I love white people?
Right. Do you love white people?
Like, what is that supposed to mean?
It's a question.
I like people. Yeah.
Did you have fun?
Dude, honestly, I love you.
Thank
I
you.
I really want to understand you better, but you won't answer any of my questions.
Because it's just a 1-hour show, man.
No, because you're setting me up.
What do
Now
you
the
mean?
next stage is that I'm gonna get mail. I'm gonna get a bomb in my mail or something from one of these guys that you suck up to.
Adam, tell the folks how to. Thank you for taking on the hot seat, and thanks for coming on. Tell the people how to get to your YouTube channel, whatever information you want to put out.
Watch the Adam Friedland show. I just want to say to Jesse, I think you're phenomenal.
Thank you.
Really, I really like you as a guy, and I want to understand you better. I want to chill.
Okay, I'm gonna have you back.
We go. No. We're gonna hang out. We don't have to podcast for these.
Oh, okay.
For these monsters.
All right.
We don't have to live. We don't have to just. We could just be friends.
Okay, I agree.
Where do you like to go? Like, where do you like to go? Like for a bite or for a drink?
I rarely go out, but whatever you say, we'll go there.
Me? You're gonna listen to me?
Yes. So whatever you suggest.
Really?
Yeah. So,
No, I defer to you. You're a man of class.
okay, I'll think of a place.
You're the man.
Amazing.
I want to understand you so much more.
Okay.
You want to come on the Adam Friedland show?
Yes.
When do you come to New York?
I'll let you know. I'll look at my schedule. I'll let you know.
Wait, do you have plans in the future?
Well, I have my son lives there, and so I can easily come.
So you should come see your great grandson.
Yeah, I have 2 grandkids. One is married now, and she and her husband has
Fuck
3
you.
boys.
What do you give gifts for your grandkids? Like a book on white history or something? You're such a what?
That's
and
a
it
good
works.
idea.
The sucking up works.
Don't give
It's
me
like
any
you're in class and
ideas.
you're like, our teacher is the best. I love our teacher. And it works on
Adam.
these honky asses.
Adam, I gotta hang up.
What do you give? You give mayonnaise to your grandson as a gift. I love you. Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. And thank you all for tuning in. Let us hear from you. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, support us at thefallenstate.tv and locals.com. All right. Let us hear from you. Thank you, Adam. We'll be talking soon.
Thank you, Jesse.
All right, buddy.
Text me, dude.
I will.
I'll see you, dude. We'll go to the club.
Yes, sir. All right.
I'll see you at the club.
All right.
All right, bye.
Thanks, buddy. Amazing.
Oh shit. Oh my god, I can hear the music. Oh my gosh, I was gonna miss it. Oh, he saw me hide there. That was dumb. I thought for sure he was on. Oh my god, there he is.
just bought a military base, is that right?
Yeah, formerly Fort McClellan.
Well, Hollywood is making its way to Alabama. Comedian Cat Williams has purchased land in East Central Alabama with designs on making it a new hub of black city filmmaking.
Magnificent. It's going to be one of the greatest things that I personally have ever done. That's the front side of the beginning of the campus, which is 30 buildings, 3 million indoor square feet. It's really magical.
The 2.5-hour conversation between Cat Williams and Theo Von on this past weekend had plenty of crazy moments, but one of the wildest things to come out of that podcast is Cat revealing his plans to turn a $1.5 million military base in Alabama into his own movie-making empire.
I was able to see what Tyler Perry was able to do with 200 or 300 acres and a military base.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And how you could make a movie studio out of that.
Fort McClellan is an hour and a half from Atlanta, where Tyler Perry's studio is located at Fort McPherson, which he purchased back in 2015 for $26 million and transformed the property into a studio worth an estimated $280 million 10 years later.
It's unbelievable.
It hit the news recently, but I purchased it a couple years back. So we've been working.
Did you reach out to Tyler Perry? Because I know he has, like, in Atlanta, he has an amazing space. It was unbelievable.
No. I wasn't looking thinner now for assistance. Like, we can do this. I just needed to be able to have a home where great movies and entertainment product could be made without any of the shenanigans that are generally involved with Hollywood.
It's been talked about to death at this point, but over the last 15 years or so, the comedy filmmaking industry has been completely abandoned by Hollywood and mainstream studios. And classic movies like Anchorman, Superbad, and Step Brothers have all been replaced with remakes of the exact same superhero movies over and over and over again, all of which for some reason require hundreds of millions of dollars to make. This has in turn created a huge hole in the market for funny content and forced funny people to start making things themselves. From Shane Gillis' self-funding Tires to Stavros' cult movie, and so many sketches and stand-up specials, comedians are creating more content on their own budgets than ever before. And Cat Williams opening a movie studio is just one of the more extreme examples.
They'll let the comedy movie industry die if we allow it. You know what I mean? And nobody in the fan base ever said, hey, we don't want any more funny movies. Nobody said that. None of the fans ever were like, hey, we're tired of laughing at the movies. Yeah, but never said that. They just decided, we make more money in the superhero action department. Let's just do all those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'll just take for somebody in the comedy sphere to start producing funny shit, and there we go again.
Cat Williams also made it clear during the episode with Theo that he would not be directly involved with every single project his studio produces, which would be a full-time job in itself. Instead, as long as they all meet the basic criteria of being funny enough that he'd approve it to be made in the first place, Cat claims he does not feel the need to be hands-on for every movie.
In much of the way the grocery store is set up. So my job is just to make sure that all of the food that we sell in this grocery store belongs in this grocery store. You see what I'm saying? Is it a good quality? Oh, we'll get it in there. The people will want to see that. Once that barrier is crossed, then we're just trying to make the best project for you and to make your smaller budget be able to compete with the
Yeah, because comedy, you don't need a really big budget either.
It just needs to be fun.
One of the main things that became clear during this 2.5-hour podcast is how much respect Cat has for Theo as an entertainer and comedian. The episode started off with Cat very generously praising Theo Von, and it carried on throughout, numerous times bringing up Theo's most viral stories and specific moments spanning back years, truly showing how big of a fan he really is.
Good old Theo Von.
It's an honor,
The
man.
world loves you.
That's nice of you to say. I can't believe I'm around you, I think. I feel like you seem like a mythical figure.
That's the good thing about people like you and I. Like, if somebody thinks that they like us, they think they made a connection with this person on the screen, they're around us. It's legitimate because it was legitimate. You know what I mean? Theo Von wasn't successful. Never had a different story. You know what I mean? It's the same story. I lived that story.
But he'd have his play, but it was just like a lot of
Was a guy looking at buttons.
yeah, you guys are wow.
Some That dude number 34, like we want to hear his story. Like we know he's got stories, and we want to know if he'll tell the stories.
Clearly lives up to the requirements of Cat's grocery store example from earlier, and after hearing how much respect Cat has for Theo, it would not be surprising if they work together in the future. And these two comics talking about self-made projects is actually really interesting timing, because right now Theo Von and David Spade are currently in the process of writing and creating an independent movie about two busboys from Arizona, and also made it clear they're interested in exploring an alternative route outside of the Hollywood norm.
People that wanted to get money, there was places that wanted to read it. We were kind of like, honestly, most of the people, because I'm from half the old school and half the new one, and I appreciate what's going on right now. Before, I'm kind of stuck with the old, so So, but I still love Netflix, and I like all, my last movie was Netflix, and so it was great, it did well, and I was so stoked, so it's hard to let that go, and like, try to work it let's just do it our way, no notes, and it's kind of hard because we both are in charge, and usually you have a studio, Paramount, a long time ago, we have Paramount, and these are the movies, but Lorne Michaels, or the director is brought in, Black Sheep, we got a director that was paid more than me and Farley, so now suddenly we have a boss that we didn't really have a Tommy Boy. Right. She's saying, I know it's funny if you guys. And you go, oh, so these are the things that you can run across, even though everyone means to do well, studio notes, TV notes, everything is, you always hear these stories. I would just rather tune it out and say, do we have the wherewithal to do this? And then, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least we did it, and then we go on from there. But it is really fun, like a bit where it's like a long bit where you have to crack every code.
Yeah.
What do we wear? What are we doing? Does this make sense? Is this funny? Is this stupid?
Well, it's bittersweet because if you're in control, you have to do all the work.
Oh.
And Netflix has the control, but they do all the filming, the editing, the production. They have scripts and all that. I don't have to do any of that.
Exactly. That's what we're learning. Theo hasn't really done it.
Even if Theo Von and David Spade are not part of the first slate of movies made at Cat Williams' new facility, the fact that he bought a military base for this purpose is not only insane, but also really cool and inspirational. And even comedians that don't have hundreds of millions of dollars are able to still use his same approach on a smaller scale, producing and distributing their own specials, sketches, and podcasts, with the best work rising to the top. Guest spots from last week, the Joe Rogan Experience sat down with Lex Friedman, Warren Smith, Dr. Mark Gordon, Easy Prohaska, and Gab Tahad. Matt and Shane brought on Drewski, who then went on Two Bears, One Cave. We Might Be Drunk talked with Blake Griffin. Tom Segura was on UV Trippin'. Fortune Future stopped by Whiskey Ginger. Graham K sat on the couch with Soder. John Wick is burning. Your mom.
What?
Cat Williams was on This Past Weekend with Theo Von. Ari Shaffir was on Are You Garbage? Katie Boyle was a guest on
What? Activate Foghorn Bridges Steamboat and escape.
My following guest is one of the world's leading classical philologists and experts in ancient Greek, who was famously accused of demon possession and portal opening by the Catholic Church before he was ejected by his university. Due to the highly disturbing nature of this episode, it had to be heavily censored with parts redacted. I know you can handle it, but YouTube can't. If you really want to see the parts that were cut out and avoid the ads, it's available on Patreon. Hammer that subscribe button below and enjoy the show.
All right, kiddos, we are rolling.
Yeah. Welcome back, brother.
No, what the fuck?
Hail Satan.
How's that tobacco?
Oh, God, it's wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Of course. It's
Thank
my pleasure. My pleasure. We
Yo,
caused a ruckus
what
on
the
that first
fuck?
podcast we did.
Okay.
And I've learned so much since that first
Hail
podcast.
Satan.
Some of the texts that we're going to go into today are going to make me want to throw up. So I brought my barf bag. I'm ready. The Greeks were sickos. The Greeks were into some nasty shit.
Yeah, so was Jesus. I've got a text for you today about Jesus that we're going to go with him out in the back. And
In the back alley?
No, he takes her up into the woods.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you a text that's going to make your skin crawl. But this is the way, brother.
We've been trying to set up a proper debate with you and a biblical scholar.
Wait, I just want to rewind to the beginning of this.
My following is injected by the camera.
We are rolling.
Yeah. Welcome back, brother.
Hail Satan.
How's that tobacco?
Oh, God, it's wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Of course, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. We you caused a ruckus on that first podcast we did.
Okay.
And I've learned so much since that first podcast.
Yeah.
Some of the texts that we're going to go into today are going to make me want to throw up. So I brought my barf bag. I'm ready. The Greeks were sickos. The Greeks were into some nasty shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some
so is
nasty
Jesus.
shit.
I've got a text
What are
for
they
you
talking
today
about?
Jesus, that we're
God.
going to go with him.
Hey, look, he's
out
wearing a
back.
Greek shirt.
And
Kind of cool.
In the back alley?
Actually, look at that. Look at the shirt he's got on. It's Greek art, like ancient vessel art.
Oh, he takes her up into
Kinda
the
nice.
woods.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you a text that's going to make your skin crawl. But this is the way, brother.
We've been trying to set up a proper debate with you and a biblical scholar, and we can't get anyone to step in here and talk to you. I think people are afraid of not just what you're saying, but your performative behavior, I think, really confuses and terrifies people.
Oh God, I love it, don't you? Doesn't that make it special?
I think it makes it great. It makes it so much more fun.
Why do you think they run?
Like I said, I think they run because they don't know. I think they're terrified by the performative behavior that you put on. You're theatrical in the way that you translate this stuff and the way that you teach this stuff on your YouTube channel. It's fun and it's cinematic and it's thought-provoking.
Yeah, no, you're very generous. That's why I like you, Danny Jones, because you're very generous. I appreciate that. The thing that really draws me that I want people to understand is the souls of the people. Once you show them the reality, oh God, it's like you break open some kind of new portal and you're able to push the person through, and it's like they come alive. And the basis of that are the texts. And the reason people are afraid is, this beautiful, beautiful thing that we have called ancient Greek, this mother who's so sexy. You have to really know what you're doing and have experience and training in the language. And all of our evidence from antiquity, I wouldn't just sit here and make up stuff with you, Danny. I wouldn't. All of our evidence from antiquity, that's what I handle, and people are afraid of that, right? People are afraid of that. So, good. That's why I'm going to show you today Jesus engaging in sexual, drug-induced cult with Mary. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. It's just a text. People ask me, Dan, I wanted to say, and that's one of the things I put on the interview, misconceptions. People have misconceptions about me. They do. I don't have any opinions or judgments. I'm not selling you a theory. I have nothing. That's why Lady Babylon on YouTube is not monetized. I have a contract with the devil. Everybody knows that. I'm open. I can't make a cent on this. So that scares people too.
That does scare people.
Yeah.
Bro, when he said, I have a contract with the devil, and I connected with the server here at the same time, that shit hit like a sound effect. Like that one that you... Oh, I forgot to unmute it. You know that doo sound? It was like perfectly synced with
and I think
what
that's
he said.
metal as
Scares people too. I can't make a cent on this. So that scares people too.
Wait.
I have a on YouTube is not monetized. I have a contract with the devil. Everybody knows that. I'm open. I can't make a cent on this. So that scares people too.
And I think that's metal as fuck that you do that.
Awesome.
Because Explain why you don't want to bring money into this. Do you think that bringing money into the stuff that you're doing and kind of poisons the well?
Yeah, beautifully. I'll put that back on, but
yeah, go ahead.
Beautifully, I need to participate in this.
Yeah,
because you just hit the nail on the head. You poison the well of inspiration when you sell it. The minute that you take that coin, the material loses its attachment to the reality behind the quantum physics that they called the muse. Right? You have to keep that well pure. And that's why the devil's writing it into all the contracts. You can't get what you want.
all the contracts.
You can't get that esoteric knowledge. You can't get that vision of what is that quantum reality. Right?
What is that accent?
Without the integrity.
Sounds familiar.
The Greeks said it this way in a chorus of Furies. They said your greed stains your soul with the stench of ruin.
Oh, he sounds like Dennis Hopper, kind of.
It's a process of all the Greek religions, a process of
Where's Dennis Hopper
purification,
from?
Mystery religion. You know, those are all purifications. That's one of the pollutions, man, is that greed. So that's why I can't monetize Lady Babylon. And I don't want to make any money. She's not I'm not hooking. You know what I mean? It's brothelery.
Yeah.
There's a lot of brothelery. YouTube smells like a brothel, doesn't it? A lot of brothelery. And that taints the material. The muse isn't going to speak to you, baby. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, and you're not beholden to anything. You're not beholden to any sort of any institution, any university.
Correct.
Anything like that. You're, like you said the last time, you're Ronin.
Right.
You're completely detached from anything.
Right. It gives me a freedom. Some of the stuff that I'm going to tell you today, some of the stuff that I'm going to bring you is I could only bring you because I am not a professor anymore, and I am not in any academic institution.
Sorry to interrupt. For people that maybe didn't watch the first episode, tell us your actual academic history.
Just really quick, classics, PhD, right? Masters, of course, classics, but also bacteriology.
Sorry.
Love it. Got a little molecular biology background. Love it. Lab work. Oh, God.
Fuck.
Love those heads. Brains. Give me brains. By the way, Danny, can I just say, you are setting up something gorgeous here, bringing people together to be able to look at this material and to be able to engage at this level. That's fantastic. That's better than journalism. That's the beginning of the end, man. That's oh God, I love it.
So last time you were on here, the first show we did, I made it clear up front that I wasn't prepared for the conversation we had, although I read your book and I listened to your podcast with Hamilton. But like going back to like how I started the conversation to explaining your performative way of teaching this stuff, it has inspired me to be fascinated in these things and continue to dive down this rabbit hole. And I've invited like half a dozen people on the show since to either corroborate what you're saying or shut down what you're saying, or at least show some sort of counter evidence or give me some more context to what you're saying, because there's nobody else that's saying what you're saying.
Yeah.
You can, or at least I can't find it.
Right. There wouldn't be.
So, and that's like a common thread on this show. Yeah. I will typically have people on here that will say something, right, that many people won't agree with, and then other people will reach out and say, hey, this guy's full of shit, let me come present my evidence, right?
Which is good. That's a
That's
gymnasium.
great. Yes,
That's
exactly.
an ancient Greek gymnasium.
Correct.
It's wrestling.
Yeah.
Perfect.
well, a lot of people made videos kind of like responding to what you were saying, like edited videos, calling out bullshit on you, saying that you messed up, you were lying, you were taking stuff out of context. Yet so people know, we quite literally reached out to, I don't know, Steve, what was it? 2-3 dozen scholars?
Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot. I asked an AI to give me like a list of 50, and half of them were dead.
We a few of them were from Harvard. A few of them classical philologists from Harvard. Theologians, biblical scholars.
Why is he
all of
making those
which
noises?
said they would not be comfortable to come debate you.
Let me tell you
He's
again.
So I gotta
he's
keep
loving
rolling
it.
with this
What a
until I
freak.
can find somebody
Yes.
to prove you wrong.
We just want to talk about the Bible.
We just want to talk about the Bible.
You've got to bait them, Danny.
Got to talk
You've got
about
to bait
the
them. Look, if this is
Bible.
going to work out as my place of feasting, you've got to bait these people better.
What?
Right? They know. Here's the problem. What makes them afraid? What makes them afraid? It is that old reason that sits in our brain and tells us, I don't believe in fairy tales. I want some science. And they know that that's what a classical philologist does, is they work with the science of the language. And when you look at these texts, it's going to blow your whole mind of what
It's gonna blow your mind,
Did
man.
you
Oh my god, it's
say on
totally
the
Dennis
last
Hopper.
podcast, or have you ever said that you're the only one who knows this stuff and reads this stuff?
No. Any classicist, and there's a few who have started studying Galen, right? Any classicist can come to you and say, hey, the sources that he's talking about, like
did she see me?
Nero's archphysician
Fuck
that's
you.
in Galen, that talks about the drugs that are being used in the death rites. Him. And they can look it up. They can go, they're classists, they can go look it up, they can check the Greek out.
Right.
Now, classical departments have been falling behind. And that's why it's particular to me. That's why you don't have hundreds of people coming up and say, oh my God, did you know Christ is a drug? Right? You don't have people doing that. So your guys at Harvard or Yale, those people are smart enough to know that I'm just talking text, and they can tell whether or not I'm a trained classical scholar.
What up,
Right,
Jorge?
they're
You had some crazy traffic earlier. Fuck yeah.
They can tell.
Wrestling's still alive and well, I
Unfortunately,
guess.
the fakers and the phonies can tell as well, and that's why when you invite people and they don't come, it's because they're unable to. One of the people that you invited is now on a big show. Correct?
Oh, yes. Yeah, because he did a debate with somebody that blew up.
Right. And he's not here now.
No, he's not here.
No.
But in all fairness, he's a very busy guy. He had a lot of stuff going on in his life, and you get a call
it's been
from
years
that
since I've
that show, and
properly watched
you kinda have to do
wrestling.
it.
It's kind of nice.
But
I didn't
yeah,
really
that's
know
sad.
the
It's a
majority of
shame.
anybody.
But the way I understand it is there's like the Bible, and then there's Christianity. That is like this veneer.
I knew
that
Trish.
People don't like to look through.
I knew.
They don't like to look past that. But behind that, there's this.
The guys at the end.
Whole nother universe of history with all.
I
this
don't know
other
who
stuff.
won.
From poetry to comedy to
I got him
musical
confused with
stuff
the
to
other Uso.
philosophy to medical texts.
I thought it was there's a J Uso and there's J and any celebs. I saw Speed. Son of a bitch! I thought I tried to juke him, but it did not work out. Highlights of the Royal Rumble. Trish. Honestly, I don't think it was that great. Trish Stratus coming back. I thought it was pretty underwhelming to see Charlotte Flair win. Excuse me. There are way better women that I thought could have won over Charlotte Flair. Oh yeah, Logan Paul. He was number 30 or something. Yeah, 30. The second to last. And he wasn't that bad, to be honest. Oh, fuck. How do you get there? Yeah. Oh, he could have gotten the other dude. Lots of people in chat were not happy that Cena gave Jey Uso the win. I think he's a little corny, but not a bad wrestler. For my first time seeing him, not knowing anything about him.
That is just like once you can penetrate that veil of Christianity and the church, there's so much more to learn.
Yeah, you got it. Listen to that. You just crack the ages. You know what I mean? Right? When you see through that Christian filter, and I don't want to say Christian, it's a monist filter, because people, the same thing happened to the Egyptians, like in the 14th century BC. They had a monism that came along, one God, and everybody's one God, and everybody else has to be ignored, and forget her, Lady Justice, and forget, and that was those were the.
Who's this guy? Amon Hillman. Dennis Hopper. And it sounds.
Suddenly he'll grab you and he'll throw you in a corner and he'll say, do you know that if is the middle word in life? If you can keep your head when all about you're losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you. I mean, I can't, I'm a little man. I'm a little man. He's a great man. I should have been a pair of ragged claws scuttling across floors of silent seas. I mean...
Stay with the boat.
Hey, don't go without me, okay? I want to get a picture.
Where is Dennis Hopper from? Or maybe if I look up this guy, it'll tell me where he's from. What's that accent? Arizona. What? What? That doesn't make any sense. He was born to Baptist parents in Tucson, Arizona. By the time he was 17, he was teaching Sunday school and preaching at a mission, as well as studying Koine Greek and Latin. It's a crazy accent. What are his parents? Doesn't say anything.
The followers of Aten, right? And anyway, whether it's
Kristen is Hopper firm.
Atanism or Christianity or Judaism or Islam, those are
Kansas.
monist traditions. And monist traditions follow patterns in history. And if you can penetrate that monist lens and get back down to the classical civilization, you can explain what those very earliest Christians were doing, because their writings are at the same time. Here's the big problem, people. This is why the world is so screwy, and why the history that you think you know is not the accurate history. It's not the factual history.
This episode,
because you're looking through a lens of theology. You're looking through a lens, and it's distorting the way that you're perceiving the world. And the reason you're doing that is because the focus was narrowed to the biblical or Christian or monist texts. So outside of that world is an entire other world. It's what surrounds it and makes it operate. What Christ. Jesus didn't show up and become the first Christ.
The first Christ was Lady Babylon.
The first linguistic reference we've got to an historical person, the Queen of Babylon, the Medea. She is first portrayed as Christing herself. But when Jesus is there, 1,000 years later, when he's doing his thing, that word is going to be very important. It's history and everything about it. People, here's what I mean. Let me crack the lens a little bit for you. There are 5 words in Greek, ancient Greek. They're the most prominent words that you're going to hear in Christianity. And those 5 words are all drug terms. They're all drug terms. Are you ready? Christ, Savior, baptism, mystery, and what's the 5th?
Resurrection?
No. Oh, God, I forgot the 5th. I'll think of it in a minute. I'll think of it. Where's that?
Too much tobacco.
I need some more of the tobacco to jog my memory. But all of those, gospel, see, it works. Gospel. People don't realize it. That's the beautiful one. Can I?
Of course.
Please.
Of course. Yeah. Sorry.
Tobacco. Yay. What is the? Oh God, where's my lighter paper?
It's there, isn't it?
How can
is it
you?
under this? There it is. There it is. Under the Pope hat.
It's under my hat. Gospel. People don't realize that the word gospel is the word that you use when a drug is given to a person. It's the drug's efficacy. The gospel is what brings you salvation. Salvation, right? And remember, there's no clear delineation between drug use and religion and medicine. Those are all part of the same world. This is why you have prophets. Anybody knows, and this is I'm going to rock the world with this. Are you ready? And people are going to be, oh, how can he say that? Look at the text, people. The only thing that a prophet designates is somebody who sees visions via drugs.
And prophets were people who were bombed on drugs.
Yeah, not just bombed, but like integrated into their whole
They were like shamans.
Kind of looks like
Repertoire,
Dennis Hopper
that you
too
could
in the
touch
eyes.
their clothing and everybody knew you're going to get some kind of blessing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, a vision perhaps. A vision. I'm sorry, am I yelling in your ear?
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
Fine. No, it's great.
Vision.
But what do you say to all the people online? There was many of them who said when
What a
you're and
nut.
people that I've had on this podcast since that say there is this semantic range and the word Christ had many different meanings. And just because that you say it was a drug term doesn't mean that that's the only meaning it had. There were many other readings, and you're broad brushing the word Christ to mean what you want it to mean.
Those people don't read classical Greek. All of those critics, right? None of them actually does classical Greek. If they did, they wouldn't make such a stupid statement. Right? The role of the classical philologist, the job is to find that lexical reality. What does that word mean? And so what you do is when you read works over a period of 1,000 years, because remember, that's what we do. We read stuff that takes place over 1,000 years. Okay, so it's not just like, this is not, I tell my students, you're not just learning English. You're not just learning English or German or French.
Right.
Right? You're learning over a millennium, 2 millennia. You're following the track of the Logos. I love you, Mr. Box. You're tracking
It's a great box.
the arc of the Logos, right? And that's why those terms like that, there's a whole physics behind it and whatnot. And the classicist has actually had the privilege, if they're good, of reading everything around, right, over a 2,000-year span. Boom. And then when somebody comes to you with a text, for example, the Bible, right, you've got a broad context of where that thing sits and where the meaning has drifted or not drifted or augmented or changed, right? Because that's what meaning does. That's why they say semantic drift and whatnot.
Semantic drift, right? The meaning changes over time.
Yes, right? Because they're living. They grow and they develop, they age and they die. Right? Language is living for anybody who didn't figure that out.
What is the semantic drift of the word Christ?
Yeah, it starts out as the bite. It's the bite of the fly.
The gadfly.
The gadfly, right? Which brings you the oestrus. Now, wait a minute. You say, what if... Stop. It's the culture. What are they using? They're using arrow poisons.
When is this? What year?
So, say late Bronze Age.
Late Bronze, so that's
late
what,
Bronze Age. You could say like 1600 to 1000.
Okay.
Right? Just talk about that period of the Bronze Age, right? This is when all this tech is coming about. It's all coming through arrow poisons. The very words in Greek are what betray this, right? In addition to all the references, right? Now, you can say Eohiera, the poison.
Where do the
pore.
arrow poisons come from? Is that snake venom?
That's
or?
Black Sea stuff, baby. It's Black Sea stuff. And it's coming from combos of venoms, combos.
Okay.
Which is incredible.
Right. Multiple venoms mixed together.
Multiple venoms mixed together. And they're blending it up. Even the midwives are using it to deliver children and stuff
and
like
the
that.
the medusae would shampoo their hair in this venom.
Well, it said they carried the venom in their hair.
And they
I
would
don't
like
know
wrap
if
their
you'd
hair
say
around it.
shampoo it, but
Okay, well.
I'd probably just oil it up. I've
Oil
never
it up,
had the
maybe, yeah.
pleasure of oiling up a Medusa, but you know, I can imagine, you know, that hair is the container for that eos, they called it.
Right.
So do you understand why they had prophets and oracles? Because they were using the eos. Now, this is something, look, I'll give you something fresh.
Okay.
Because I know, that's old material, man. I told you that, baby. What's the fresh stuff? You know that rod? You know what I brought you today?
No, go ahead. I'm just kidding.
I have brought to you the rod of Hermes. Oh, God. It's like that guy's rod. Yeah, they knocked them all off. Alcibiades, those fuckers. Oh, I'm sorry. You know.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and anyway, the rod. Oh, God. This is something people don't know. The serpent. 2 serpents wound around a rod. Do you know what that...
Copulation.
No. God damn it, no.
Well, I heard Ruck talking about this. Carl Ruck said, when you see a serpent copulate, it opens a portal to another dimension. And also, when you see a serpent copulate, you have a sex change. What the f does that mean?
Because he knows in the cave of Eternitas, above the entrance is the Ouroboros. He knows that. So he knows that's the snake that consumes itself.
Oh, okay.
Right, that he's talking about. Yeah, definitely. He's talking about that old, oh God, Earth Mother, the first oracle. Definitely.
The skeptic.
Now, why is it between the rod? What is it separating? The rod is separating 2. It's separating 2 snakes.
Right.
It is dote and antidote.
Right. That's what you explained.
No, I didn't explain that last time because I just learned that. It's dote and antidote.
By the way, can you? It is kind of a terrifying image. The image of 2 snakes having sex. Have you seen it?
Not having sex. But
Can you look it up, Steve? Just type in snakes mating.
Do they have their anal flaps open?
It's crazy looking.
They have dual pins. They have, what do they call those?
You find it, Steve?
Yeah, hold.
Hemipene.
Why is he ignoring him?
Snakes have
just images, not
penises.
Just go to images.
2 heads. Google. 2-headed penis.
The snake does?
Yes.
What?
Really?
Oh God. I massage my snake's
Look
penis.
at that. Look at that right there.
What?
Oh, this thing?
Yeah, look at that.
What?
How wild is that? They're like braid themselves together.
Yeah. They love it.
And I'm sure they bite each other.
Yeah, you rub them. Oh God. Look at it comes out. Where's the hemipene? Show us. Give us. It's dual-headed. It's dual-headed.
What does that mean when you see a snake? Look at that on the right. Yeah.
What the fuck?
How crazy is that,
We're just
man?
enjoying snake.
Yeah, we're watching snake porn right now.
I love that. It's a dance, huh?
Watching a snake is like opening a portal to another dimension, says Rock.
Yeah, it's getting me going, that's for sure. I'll tell you that. Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Rock. Appreciate that.
So
They got me, carnal.
The semantic drift of the word Christ.
Yeah.
Christ starts in the Bronze Age, late Bronze Age.
Yes.
That's the first time we ever see the word Christ.
No, it's the first reference to an individual who was from that period.
It's a first reference to an individual.
Yeah, who was Christing.
And who is that individual?
Medea. That's the oldest one that we've got. So we know that
that's
concept.
The first time we ever see the word Christ?
It's the first time we ever see it's the earliest don't say it's the first.
Okay, sorry.
It's the reference to the earliest Christing historical person. Reference to the first time we see someone somebody got Christed.
Okay.
Yeah.
But was the term ever, do we find that word anytime in literature earlier than that?
No. Oh, in literature earlier than that. Oh, yeah, no. There's a whole bunch.
There
like
is?
Euripides is earlier. That's a historical reference. Right, so that's a historian, a Greek historian. Remember, the Greeks invented history, right?
And
It's
how
all
is
the
Euripides
language
using
stuff.
the word?
He's using it the same way. He's using it for a sex drug.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, it's never different from the fact
Oh,
that
thanks,
it's a
bitch.
drug.
Don't heal me
It's
then.
always
It's
a
always
drug.
a fucking drug, people. Right? It always is a drug.
Right. It's a.
So I don't, the only reason, and people will say, Danny, you're being bamboozled.
Right.
Right?
Everyone's saying that.
How does this one guy come up with this thing that nobody else knows? You know why? Because I've read the medical literature. Right? The first time I saw it, it kind of excited me too. I was like, wait a minute, did that just say somebody Christed someone? Yeah. Surprised me.
When is the first time it is? So, starting, it goes, Euripides talked about it before Medea.
Yeah.
And then...
No, Euripides talked about it before the historian who wrote about Medea.
Before the historian
Before
who wrote
he
about,
wrote.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. This is hard to navigate the history because we're talking about
No,
things that happened, then we're talking about when it was written
It's
about.
over 2,000 years.
Right.
God, it's so confusing.
Yeah. So, when is the first time the word Christ is used in a different way? That's not a drug term.
It's never used in a different way. That's not a fucking drug term. I'm sorry. I gotta stop the F-bombs. I should put the hat back on.
When did they start saying that it was something different? It was what did Dan McClellan say? Dan McClellan said it meant a revolutionary. When did that come about? When did they start saying it meant a revolutionary?
It never does. They're smoking a
Oh no, never mind.
theology.
He said lay stace meant revolutionary.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, that's
He
the
said-
same. That's the same drug he's using, though. It's the same drug he's using, right? You put up a boundary. Here's what happens. You said in the very beginning, which is genius. There's you reach a point where Christianity took over the writing of the history and the analysis, the education. And when they did, you lost something, right? We're looking at that, but we haven't penetrated yet that lens. That's still theology.
Yes.
That you're getting. It's always a Christing. But
So it's always a Christing
the
until
later-
the church.
Yeah, until it becomes a tradition in the church.
Right.
And then they define what this thing is.
Okay.
Huh. It's fantastic.
Okay.
So
And
if the-
Bible scholars wouldn't know this because Bible scholars don't read medical texts.
No.
They don't read philosophical texts. They stick to the Gospels.
I can bring any Bible scholar in here, and I hope this doesn't scare you away. Because I'm waiting. I'm so hungry, Danny. I'm so hungry.
This is an open invitation for anyone, and I think it would make it better if we got two Bible scholars in here to debate you. Oh,
God.
So it's 2 versus 1. The table's a little lopsided.
2 at once. Yeah, no, it's
Or classicist, Bible scholar, anybody.
Yeah, any classicist, right? Come sit here. Let's talk about it. Isn't it wonderful they're talking about it? You know what I mean? Hey, classicists should be drawn like flies. You know what I mean?
right.
They should love this stuff.
Right.
Yeah, classicists.
Is there any reason they would be afraid to do this? Not in the aspect of getting things wrong or getting quote unquote steamrolled by you, but like, would they get any sort of backlash from their universities, or would they like lose tenure for engaging with you and talking about this stuff?
Traditionally, I don't know about the atmosphere right now, but traditionally, classicists don't mingle with biblical scholars.
Right.
Why?
I'm talking about another classicist.
Because it was their text, right? And they don't want people saying things about their texts. You could get yourself in big trouble if you start talking about what's in there, right? You can. It's very easy. I'm telling you, there is stuff. Oh, I'm going to show you today a new one. You guys are going to love this. Oh, God, eat my ejaculation, says Jesus Christ. It's alive. Yeah.
So that's what he told Mary on the mountain?
Yeah, in the woods. He took her out in the woods.
Yeah. We actually read about this on a previous podcast that we did with somebody. Who did?
Yeah, in the eat my new one. You guys are gonna love this. Oh God, eat my ejaculation, says Jesus Christ.
That's all censored. I think he's saying eat my cum, maybe?
Right? You can. It's
Why
very
out-
easy.
Or eat my shit?
There is stuff.
What do
I'm
they
gonna show you
censor out?
today, a new one. You
Gotta be
guys are gonna
something
love
really
this.
crazy.
Oh God, eat my ejaculation, says Jesus Christ. It's alive. Yeah.
So that's what he told Mary on the mountain?
Yeah, in the woods. He took her out in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually read about this on a previous podcast that we did with somebody. Who remember we like read through this?
Did you?
On a recent pod, we saw it on a blog post where there was a guy. He was calling it it was a Bart Ehrman or something.
Bart Ehrman.
Bart
Oh, is
Ehrman.
that
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. He was explaining this the something about Mary, and he talked about how Jesus was making Mary eat his.
The greater letters of
Eat his
Mary.
cum.
Greater,
That's
yes,
what they're saying.
No, he was calling it the greater questions of
No,
Mary.
that's it. Is it's questions.
Questions
It's
of Mary. Yeah.
It is. Oh God, what do you do? It's a clear reference, and by the way, it's one thing I can do is I can unlock for you the fact that when Jesus talks at that moment about bringing the woman from his side. People always think, and you think back to Eve and the presentation of Eve in the Septuagint, which was a Hellenistic document, if and not a Hebrew one, never was. And when you think about what he did when he said it brought a woman out of his side, is a process of, I can show you the text, is a process of sexual activity.
Sexual.
And engaging the flanks. Have you ever engaged a woman in the flank? Oh, do you understand what I'm saying? You put that energy into the flank. Boom! Bring it from both sides. Shoot it right in there. You know what I mean?
Both sides?
Yeah. Boom! Just shoot it right in. You know what I mean? And it's the sex cult. That's the thing that's so cool about this is there's a lot of sex cult stuff going on.
Yeah. No,
And,
you made that clear last time.
Sexy.
Yeah, and it says that it says in the text, in the Greek text. Now remember, people, how is this person getting this stuff? How is Amen getting this stuff? It's just text out there in Greek, and you can look at these people. And this one says something beautiful. This one says something beautiful. It says the kids were afraid of the drugs. They were afraid of the drugs that Jesus was talking about.
The kids
using.
were?
Yeah, because he wanted them to eat his ejaculate. That's what it says. He engaged Mary sexually out in the woods. And then he said, you've got to eat. You've got to eat my aporoya.
What the fuck?
Ejaculate. That's life. Right? Eat my flesh and
who wrote
drink
that?
my hyma. And people say, hyma means blood.
They want to change
look
the
at-
meaning of the words, yeah.
Oh my God. Just look at the text, people. It's really cool. I'm sorry, Danny, to go on a rant like that. Yeah, go ahead. What's next?
No, I was just gonna ask you who wrote that Questions of Mary, the story about him being on the mountain with Mary and doing that.
Yeah. I don't know. No f***ing clue.
But didn't you read it?
Yeah.
You read the primary.
Oh, yeah, we have the text, but who knows who wrote? You mean who wrote it originally?
Yeah.
No, who knows?
Oh.
I don't know. Does it matter who? This is biblical scholars. They sit there and you wrote this. Oh God! It doesn't say.
So when you
document
when
is
you
the
read
So
it,
distracted
but
by
when you
this
read the document, don't you consider where it came
demon
from and when it came from, or no?
on
You
Danny
do.
Jones.
You determine that through the language.
Oh.
Yeah.
So by reading the Greek, you could figure out who wrote it and when?
You were trained as a classical philologist to be able to read Greek from the late Bronze Age, right? Into the right. That goes into the linear B. From that period down, okay, starting with Homer, working your way all the way forward to 1000 Anno Domini, where you're reading Homeric scholars who are writing ancient, who are writing Byzantine explanations and commentaries of Homer, right? Because remember, Homer is the way that we teach grammar, right? It's a science, and you program somebody. That's why the second thing on my little thing here.
Oh,
is,
what the hell
why
is
are
that
we
thing?
So far behind the Greeks, right? Listen to their education. It's music. It's in 3 branches: music, grammata, grammar, and gymnasium, where you and I are gonna get naked together. Steve's gonna watch.
And what's the gymnasium?
Yeah, I'm telling you, we're gonna get naked together.
Okay.
And then
With the candles?
No.
And the
candles.
Bible. We got
no.
the Bible.
Well, no, we don't need the Bible then.
We need the Bible if we're going to get naked.
Not in the gymnasium.
Okay.
Not in the gymnasium. We're going to get naked and we're going to get oiled up.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I are going to slug it out. We're going to put some bands on.
Okay.
Right? To prevent any serious damage. You know
Oiled
what I mean?
up, butt naked, boxing. MMA.
And
Ancient MMA.
Right. Wrestling. We're going to practice submission and taking somebody down and submitting them. So their education, the standard Greek education, is 1/3 music, 1/3 grammar, the spoken language, and 1/3 MMA. Yeah.
No math?
It's part of, believe it or not, it's part of MMA.
The math is part of MMA?
Yeah, you got everybody sitting in the stands. You know what they're doing? They're reading Pythagoras, baby. Right? These are Greeks, man. Where do you think libraries come from? They didn't come from any civilization but one alone. That with the greatest language, the most complex language. And everybody's sitting looking at can I just say, everybody's sitting looking at the pyramids. Oh, God. Big deal. Big deal.
The pyramids?
The pyramids.
Big
Not
deal.
impressed.
So
Not
big
impressed.
triangle.
Rocks piled upon rocks by a bunch of
Ay, I
sweaty
almost missed it.
slaves. And do you understand why we can't figure out how they built the things? Because they weren't smart enough to develop a language that would allow them to describe it, to hand it down to us. If you read anything, any sort of translation from Egyptian, read it. I had to read the medical stuff, right? Because I was looking at their technical level. You read the Book of the Dead, man. You read by the way, the whole Middle Eastern thing too, all you scholars out there, and the Middle Eastern thing, you know that language is garbage.
What language is that?
You know, it's all of them. The Assyrian, the Akkadian, all of them. Now, the Assyrians had a little bit of medicine. That was it, though. Right? Read the Epic of Gilgamesh. Oh, my God. Listen, people. I already set this up.
What is the Epic of Gilgamesh? That's written in Sumerian?
Yeah, there's several. Sumerian and Babylonian. Okay. Akkadian, I think, is in there. Mm-hmm. Right? Middle Eastern languages, we're talking about Gilgamesh. They got it from the library of Ashurbanipal, right? Which is mostly a bunch of laundry lists. Anyway, the master work that they came up with was this Gilgamesh, and I just want to read to you. What I'm going to do, audience, this magic trick that I'm going to do, is I'm going to flash before your eyes 2 things. The first thing is Gilgamesh, and the second thing is Aristotle. Oh, God, this guy's he's going to totally bash us. Yes, Timmy. That is the purpose.
Steve, you want to hit the lights for us? You want to
I think I can do it.
Okay.
This day on which Enkidu dreamed came to an end. Yeah, and he lay stricken with sickness. One whole day he lay on his bed, and his suffering increased. He said, Gilgamesh, the friend on whose account he had left the wilderness, once I ran for you, but he's having some kind of delusional fevers here. So for the water of life, he's going for the water of life, and I now have nothing. A second day he lay on his bed, and Gilgamesh watched over him, but the sickness increased. A third day he lay on the bed. He called out to Gilgamesh, rousing him up. Now he was weak in the eyes, is blind with weeping, and 10 days he lay there suffering. Crazy, oh my God, does this ever stop? And Gilgamesh wept over Inca. Oh God, he finally died. I'm so happy. Right? Right? Okay, now think about the language that it takes to express that, just linguistically. Right? Do you hear the repetition? Do you hear it's very simple verbs, very simple actions? It's very, repeated. That's what languages that don't have many words do that. They use repetition as a crutch.
Right.
Think of it as like a kid developing his speech, developing his ability at speaking. Okay, now let's fast forward to Greek and let's compare it. This is Aristotle. Harmony is celestial, since its nature is divine, noble, and wonderfully wrought. Being in its operation naturally quadripartite, it has two means, arithmetic and harmonic, and its parts and magnitudes and excesses are manifested in conformity with number and equality of measure. 4. Melodies are given their form in the range of 2 tetrachords.
What the does that mean?
Oh, do you feel as dumb as I do?
Yeah.
It turns into huh. After a while, it turns into huh. Okay, that's Aristotle. Right? If you look at what he does with the language, it's miraculous. It's like watching a gymnast with a routine.
Right.
They're just able to reach out into the ether and grab something and pull it in. Oh, God. Oh, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was tohu wabohu. And you're going to say, what? Tohu wabohu is the Hebrew. Right? It's not the original. The Greek is aoratos and akataskewastos. Those are two very different terms. Very, very different. And the Hebrew can only translate them into empty and empty because Hebrew only had a 7,000 word vocabulary, dude. Right? So as you're looking at languages, as you're looking at people who are analyzing those languages, realize what you're dealing with. Languages are not all the same. They're not. And I'm sorry, but Mother Greek is just sexy,
I thought I
naughty.
could juke him.
You know what I mean? There's poetry, so naughty poetry.
So you're the only person on this earth, on this planet, that says that the Septuagint was an original Greek.
Am I the only one?
Is
no.
there anyone else?
Yeah, there is.
There is?
Yes. Yeah.
Who?
He's dead. Does that count?
Kind of, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe you get like a half a point for that. Who is he?
He's a
John Scarborough.
No. He's a dead longer than that. He was a scholar of Greek, a grammarian, like they used to grow. Right? These are the guys who started everything. Because the language, you can't go where the language has to lead you there.
But it hasn't unlocked yet.
Yeah, and he said, hey, Origen, who's a Christian, right? His name was Africanus.
Oh, Africanus, yeah.
Yeah.
He's the only other one. He's been dead a long time.
He said that a portion, right, of the Septuagint at least there's no way it's a Hebrew.
Do you know what portion?
It was several books. Yeah, Daniel. He uses examples from Daniel and from Genesis. Now,
so we had Gad Barnea on here, and he was trying to explain to me, Steve, he said it was like Jewish Greek.
Fuck.
Yeah, I wonder if it was that
Fuck.
Keon Greek, but he definitely said it was.
Koine.
Yeah, I wonder. He doesn't say that. He just says it was Jewish Greek.
Oh, I might make it still.
That doesn't exist.
Jewish Greek
He should know that. It doesn't exist. There's no Jewish Greek. What is Jewish Greek? What do? You take all the Jewish...
Can we play the clips,
Do you
dude?
take Jewish authors and throw them They have a whole separate Greek. Give them equality.
We're gonna love this. Let's bring him into the museum.
Sake.
Let's bring him into the arena here. Oh, virtually into the arena. What? Oh God! You got the full podcast. Are you gonna find it? You know where it is? You know what spot?
What? Where does he date where does he date Judaism to? He dates it really late. I don't know, like 2nd century BC.
I'm not sure, but he did say that the Septuagint was Hellenistic, and he said that he believes it was written in the same time frame as he said that translation happened within, I might be f***ing this up, but I want to say within 30 years, 20 or 30 years, he said. So he thinks it was, around the same time, or, it was still Hellenistic. I don't know. I don't know what he was saying. We're gonna have to listen to him. If you can find it, Steve.
I have this clip right here where he's.
Oh,
talking
you
about
have the clip.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's play it.
That's what this.
Let's play it.
Yes. Okay. Here we go.
Now, another really important point that a lot of scholars miss is that the Septuagint is not Greek as such. It's not Greek. It's Judeo-Greek.
For people who are new to this stuff, can you explain what the Septuagint was?
So the Septuagint is this translation of especially of the Torah, of the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible, into something that is Greek related.
Okay.
And the reason I'm saying Greek related because it's not actual Greek. It's Hebrew Greek. It's Jewish Greek. It's Judeo Greek. It's kind of like
Oh my God!
Greek.
No.
That's crazy. I've never heard of that before.
Oh my God! Because it doesn't exist.
So I come from classical studies, and so I studied classical Greek for a long time.
Oh,
and so
really?
for me, coming into and reading the Septuagint or the New Testament, which is an extension of the Septuagint in terms of its language.
No, it's not. Not at all.
It
Totally
was
wrong.
it was almost shocking. It was almost uncomfortable.
No, he's making it up, dude.
Yeah,
He's
for
acting.
anyone coming from classical Greek or from Greek Greek
No.
to read the
Greek
Septuagint
Greek.
because it's not. In some cases, it even
Let's
it seems to be wrong.
let's do
It's very
Homer,
badly
baby.
written.
Right.
Some of the terms that it's using don't make sense in Greek, but
Oh,
when you
really?
know the Hebrew term
Oh,
behind
yeah?
it,
Give me a
it's an exact
really?
translation into
Give
Greek.
me- Give me an example, dude.
So it's Hebrew. It's really very much an.
He
I'm
sounds
sure
like
lot of
a
people listening to this
Nickelodeon
know about
cartoon
Yiddish.
character.
So Yiddish is
Oh,
Jewish
God.
German, right?
Dude,
That's
Jewish
the-
German is
Where
Yiddish.
is that
It's a
from?
German
When's
language
Hold on. Let's finish
adopted
it.
by
I
the
didn't even know that.
Yeah. So okay. So Yiddish is Jewish German.
Okay.
And it's
He's
the German. It's
behind
based
you.
on the German
He's
language, but it
behind
has a lot of words in Hebrew.
got his
Also,
fingers
kind of sprinkled in. And that's the same thing with the Greek of the Septuagint. It's not
Not at all.
So
Not at all.
for Ptolemy or anyone to commission a work that would be written in a Jewish Greek, not in Greek, makes little sense.
Yeah, why would you create some new Jewish Greek? Why wouldn't you just make it into real Greek?
Right, so that was probably the Greek that was spoken by the Jews of Alexandria.
Probably.
So it was written for them. It was not, so that's the language, that's
source,
the Greek that
baby.
they had for their own.
All right, that's good,
identity.
Steve.
Give me a source.
What is he saying? What is
It's bullshit. That was
Can you
bullshit.
for a second try to elucidate or clarify his position and what he's saying for people that are listening to this and they're confused as right now?
His position is
Can you
flim-flam.
clarify his position?
Yeah, it's flim-flam. There is no Jewish Greek. Just like there's no Italian Greek. There's no Turkish
But why
Greek.
is he saying that the Septuagint is Jewish Greek? How is it different?
I don't know, because he's trying to pull the authority. Right? He's trying to say you really can't read this text because it's not Greek, it's something else. Oh no, it's beautiful.
But
beautiful.
it is Greek.
It's beautiful Hellenistic Greek, and I would put it at the level, compared to people like Telemachus. It's hard because he's so elevated, right? The prophets, the prophetic writings that are there. Remember, prophetes is a Greek term, right?
Hey,
The prophets that are there. They're reaching I'd say a mid-level 5 or 6. I give it a 5 or 6. So it's not up to the standard of the museum.
It's not up to the standard. So we were talking before we started about the Koine Greek. Koine Greek is like McDonald's hamburger Greek, and then you have Aristotle, which is like a wagyu fillet or like a tomahawk ribeye, like a prime rib.
I would put Aristotle just a little. I wouldn't put him at the top. No.
So where on that range, on that scale, is the Septuagint Greek?
About a 5. It's somewhere in
About
the,
halfway.
Yeah. It's
okay.
it's very stylistically. It's I'd put it a good 5.5 or 6. You know, she's not going to the Olympics or anything, right? But there is considerable drift from Alexandria lexically. The meanings of the words are like penetrating, getting out there, right? That's why we're talking about Uranus and Gaia. So you can see that influence from Alexandria. And that gentleman just said that there's a Greek and there's some other kind of Greek.
Jewish Greek.
It does not exist. It does not exist. If you want the proof of that,
you don't learn about Jewish Greek in classical programs?
It sounds so funny. No, why would you get why would you get Jewish people writing things then in Greek if they had this other language that this whole book was made up of? No, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
I have a question.
Classical Greek. Yes, Steve.
Okay, so we can kind of apply that to today, right? So a great analogy would be like English. English is English, right? But then you have American English and UK English, right? We don't really differentiate that, but there is a difference, especially in the written words, like color, COLOUR versus America's COLOR.
Yeah.
They put a lot of OUs in there. For instance, aluminum is our word, but aluminium.
Yeah.
So
it's not quite. Wait, you're halfway there with that because that's dialectical differences, right? That's one level of how language can change or evolve, right? Is through dialect. I'm talking at a deeper level with the lexical capacity of the language.
I'm dead.
What is the language able to describe? And the difference between Koine Greek and some kind of gorgeous Attic steak like Aeschylus is a drop in its lexical complexity, right? It's a dumbing down. Koine is a dumbing down process, and Koine can happen across dialects. Think of it that way. It's like a virus, dude. Once you've been infected with Koine, you're in trouble. And the Greeks try to revive their own standards back up to 5th century Athens, because that's when Greek is at its most elegant.
5th century.
Yeah, when all that democracy stuff's going on and all the tragedy and comedy and all that kind of stuff, all the civilization is happening. It's when they're developing that. This all started because I said I wouldn't put Aristotle at the top, right? Because there's Aeschylus. I put him at the top, and he's using this old Dorian chorus, and it's like God. It's like it's a beating heart of civilization, and once you penetrate that monist film that obstructs your vision, and you reach that reality that we actually had in history, that's why I tell people. You don't know history. You don't get it. You can ask a Christian today, and I intend to do this to anybody, Denny, that comes to us, to tell me what the Christ is. I already know what they're going to say, and I already know how to bat it down. And I suppose I could get a couple of New Testament scholars in here, and I could stand on this table and provide you the seed and the blood that you need by bombarding them with text after text after text of Christing and turning people into sex fiends. Oh, God. Satyrs with ribbons in their medical treatments. Do you understand?
Kind of hard to
Koine
understand.
Greek, the Septuagint was not
when
Koine
when the sentences are being censored.
It's much better than that.
It's in an intermediate period when stuff begins to degenerate, right? right? But no, it's very much got the Hellenist. It's still got a little bit of a twinge of the Hellenistic intellectual stuff that was coming out of the museum in Alexandria, the library, and all those great artists. Essentially, Danny, that's another point from the paper. Look, people, the problem is you're not ruled by
These names of the other
right?
players look
people
like
aren't ruled by
bot
musicians, and
names.
that's the problem.
Weedmaster
And,
82.
people don't recognize either. The
Command
society-
I don't
Ghost
drink from
02.
Ganymede's rectum. That's why I'm not in charge.
Alejandro
no,
North.
but the musicians were.
Yes.
Right?
Am I even
and they
playing
can
with
drink
real
from
people?
Ganymede's rectum. And
Fuck.
you, motherfucker, is the word in Greek. Metrokoites. The society that's coming up
Metrocoitus.
with things like democracy and the scientific method. That society that's getting so advanced. They're founded by rock and roll people. Right? They're founded on the backs of lyre players. Men and women. And for those of you who don't know that, check it out. You're going to find a whole lot of guitar playing people. And they, this is the first time we see Metrocoites is with this group.
Matricoitus.
And that is mother. That's how it's translated. I've seen a translation with that. And why? Who would give us such a thing? It's iambic poets who give us such a thing. What is iambic poetry? It is a poetry that's satanic vein that is sent to wake you up. It's the gadflies. You want to know what it means to be Christed? It means to be inspired. To be inspired by a drug.
It's spooky when he
drug
talks
with
like
a
that.
gospel. A gospel that leads us to salvation. And that's all in the text. You've got it all in text. I don't know why the monists try to cover it up, but they do. They come in, and just like you said, something happened in antiquity. It's that film of the Christianity.
That's what you're doing. You're inspiring a new generation of time travelers to go back and excavate the truth of antiquity.
Correct.
And what was going on, the mysteries, the drugs, the sex, the pharmacon, everything.
Everything.
They were roaming around. There were no cultural sanctions on these people.
No.
Until
the Christians come along and make laws, right, in order to manipulate and to control and seize estates. Libanius tells us this.
Which
Says
way
those
is
goddamn Christians? They've broken onto the estate and they're claiming we're violating laws by burning this incense. We've got to get rid of it because fumigation is a big deal. That's how you get a group of people high. We have
they would walk through the town and burn weed, marijuana.
Medea did. Yeah, that was one of the things she used. Yeah. And
I bet he's
just
camping.
Fumigate. You just
right
fill
there.
the air, right? What does that do? It cleans people, they would say. You clean this person up, but too goddamn emotional. You can purge your population that way. I'm sure the CIA should already be a step ahead of us on this, right? But
of course they are.
Using drugs to control a population is a very ancient practice. Only the best culture does it.
When you say they use the fumigation to purge the population, what do you mean by that specifically? How do you purge them? How does that purge them?
You purge them of that naughtiness.
You purge them of the naughtiness?
Yeah.
Or you mean you're purging them psychologically is what you're saying?
Yeah. Imagine if I took you and Steve.
He's nearby for
and
sure.
12 of your best friends up
But is
into
he
the
camping the
mountains
door?
and I drugged you all. And I gave you drugs that induced a...
Oh, he's right there. Shit.
A 24/7 erection that can last for 7 days before you'll keel over dead. Which, by the way, that's when you get your
he's
tattoos
letting them
that we were
go.
talking about, motherfucker.
Whatever.
That's when you get them. Do you understand? You know the guys in the cult, if he can pull it out and it's full attention, it reads something, right? A message that disappears. Do you understand? Yeah. It's not a joke. It's not a joke at all. That's where the language is taking us. And it's gorgeous, man. The real history is actually more beautiful than the fairy tale. Let me give you an example. You think of religious writings. You think, oh, God, they're so wonderful. Let me give you a religious writing, a monist one that will crack open your head. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is from the Talmud. The Talmud says...
Oh, God.
This discussion here was too satanic for YouTube? What? What? The Talmud is too satanic. Get out of here.
Why were the Jews not Christians?
Get out of here.
Why were the Jews not Christians?
Does that make sense?
Why were the Jews
Why
not Christians?
didn't the
Christians did become... I mean, the Jews became Christians.
Why weren't the Jews Christians? If Christianity revolves around this figure who died on the cross who was Jewish.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Because the gangsters, he ran afoul of the gangsters. He wasn't the main hotshot. He's the guy kicking over the tables in the temple where they're doing this to the children. Mary with her fingers in the temple, her purple fingers in the temple, feeding from the angels. Everybody knows that. Right, what did you think? In antiquity, they thought that there were angels, people? You thought they're and flying. What do you oh my God, your modern culture. Why the hell are we so stupid? Why do we buy the fairy tale so quickly? Here's the one about Jesus as a...
So Jesus was an exotic figure who was Hellenistic, but based on Dionysus. Is that right? His story is based on the story of Dionysus?
No, you've been fingered by an academic.
That was Carl Ruck who said that.
No!
It was. I listened to it this morning.
It doesn't matter. You've still been fingered. What do we have to... I cannot go to any interpretation. I have to stick with those texts. What do those texts say? We know it's the dude who's Christing.
So Jesus had nothing to do with Dionysus. There's no connection.
Wait, I obviously missed some stuff. Sorry, let me rewind.
Let me give you an example. You think of religious writings. You think, oh, God, they're so wonderful. Let me give you a religious writing, a monist one that will crack open your head. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is from the Talmud.
I'm so ready.
The Talmud says...
Oh, God.
Why were the Jews not Christians?
Does that make sense? Why weren't the Jews Christians? If Christianity revolves around this figure who died on the cross who was Jewish.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Because the gangsters, he ran afoul of the gangsters. He wasn't the main hotshot. He's the guy kicking over the tables in the temple where they're doing this to the children. Mary with her fingers in the temple, her purple fingers in the temple, feeding from the angels. Everybody knows that. Right, what did you think? In antiquity, they thought that there were angels, people? You thought they're and flying. What do you... oh my God, your modern culture. Why the hell are we so stupid? Why do we buy the fairy tale so quickly? Here's the one about Jesus as a...
So Jesus was an exotic figure who was Hellenistic, but based on Dionysus. Is that right? He was his story is based on the story of Dionysus?
No, you've been fingered by an academic.
That was Carl Ruck who said that.
No.
It was. I listened to it this morning.
It doesn't matter. You've still been fingered. What do we have to... I cannot go to any interpretation. I have to stick with those texts. What do those texts say? We know it's the dude who's Christing.
So Jesus had nothing to do with Dionysus. There's no connection there.
No, Jesus had a lot to do with Dionysus because he is performing a mystery. He is involved in baptism. Who the hell gets involved in baptism in antiquity? Right? It's religious extremists who are going through mysteries. But when I say extremists, you can go through the big one in Athens like everybody who's anybody does. Right? And you can be born again. Right? So, but it is what most of us would call a religious extreme of what's going on in the religion. People don't realize baptism is a drug term. Baptism is a drug term. Oh, God. Bombard. I need to bombard scholars with all of the medical...
Carl and Ruck, who you hold in high regard.
Admire for the world. The man is such a seasoned classicist.
Who was one of the first classical scholars to talk about the use of drugs.
Yes, sir.
In his book about Eleusis.
He held the breach when nobody else would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he doesn't believe that Jesus was a historical figure.
Yes, that's correct.
What do you think about that?
I think it's a cop-out. I think it's a cop-out because he knows something. Dr. Carl Rook knows something.
He's a mythicist.
I need to go to the bathroom. We'll be back. Thanks for tuning in.
Defendant Mohammed Salama was arrested less than a week after the bombing.
The second explosive was found and defused. The third explosive that was found, and they're working on right now as we speak, I understand. Both the second and third explosives, you can imagine, third bomb were larger than the first.
That they have found a second explosive device of some kind inside this building. Justice Department is reporting that a second explosive
was deactivated.
Before the bombing, Governor Frank Keating's brother, Mark, had been working on a novel about a terrorist bombing in Oklahoma City. Stranger still, one of the characters in the novel was named Thomas McVeigh.
Sarin nerve gas. The Soviets love it. It's colorless, odorless, but it sure as hell ain't painless. They probably took out this whole town using a bottle half the size of my... Now, the Soviets have a convoy carrying enough sarin to gas all of Europe. I want you to find that convoy, blow the hell out of it. I want you to find their underground production facilities, blow the hell out of it. Think you can remember that? Oh, and evacuate any civvies who get in the way. Remember, we're the good guys. Oh, by the way, I'm General Carville. Welcome to Greece.
Reinforcements have arrived. Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, sir. For king and country. Yes, sir.
Construction of building.
Reporting. Affirmative. Commander.
Construction
For
complete.
king and country.
Construction option building.
Commander, on my way. Commander, on my way. Yes, sir. Indeed. For king and country. Yes, sir. Indeed. Indeed.
Unit lost.
For king and country. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Commander. Acknowledged. Agreed. Yes, sir.
Cannot deploy here.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Construction
Yes,
option.
sir. For king and country.
Reinforcements have arrived. Building.
Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Reporting at once. Reporting. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Acknowledged.
Unit lost. Construction complete. Unit lost. Unit lost.
On my way.
Cannot deploy here. Construction option.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Building insufficient funds.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Vehicle reporting.
Unit ready. Building.
Reporting. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Reporting. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Acknowledged. Agreed.
Unit building. Unit ready.
Awaiting orders.
Building.
By definition.
What the hell is that? He's a human being.
He's a human being, but a mythicist are people that don't believe Christ ever existed.
Gifted. No, he's not a mythicist. Bullshit. He's a superhero, and when he's out in public, he draws people to him and his goodness, and his goodness. Even dogs love to hump him. Ask him. He won't admit to. This is why he won't come on Lady Babylon, because I'll force him. Right? He knows. It's okay. Copulating turtles too. He and I watched two turtles copulate in Thrace, and then we went and drank some Retsina.
Have you really seen Carl Ruck naked?
This is very true. Very true. It was an accident. No, it was. I was prepping. I don't care because it's a positive story. I don't care. I'm going to tell you the truth from just my experience. We were staying at the same place for a conference, and I was sitting there and going over my notes, and he had gotten a shower just then, and he walked by, and his towel accidentally, it was a total accident, because I could tell by the way he reacted, but he had to bend over. He had to bend over, and suddenly in my mind, I saw that bull-horned altar. And I was like, oh my God, I get it. It's like a centaur. Right? Right? It's those big ones. It was like glory. It was like, I was like, okay, Priapus is right there.
He's got a pet iguana living in his shorts.
No, I wouldn't say that. It's just, he's ample, and he's a great, great ample man, just full of talent and incredible kindness and tenderness.
Oh.
Are you getting calls saying, "Tell him to stop"?
Wow.
No.
I'll turn it upside down.
It's the unbenefit of not being live. Oh my God, I think I confused the double negatives. He stood in the breach when people used to tell Carl Ruck,
super weird,
you're
but
talking
also
about
kinda
drugs
charming,
and you must have a drug agenda, and it was scary, man. Dude could lose his job for that kind of thing, and he held the line because he loves the text, and that's where he's truly strong.
And I think he believes that the reason that he got smeared the way he did by his university was because when he was coming out with this stuff was the same time as the psychedelic renaissance, right?
Yeah.
And the academics didn't want to prop up any of this hippie bullshit. They thought that we don't want our ancestors and the ancient Greeks to be these hippies that we see today protesting the Vietnam War. Like, they weren't the same. They wouldn't have done such a thing.
Yeah. It's the same resistance. And he wasn't interested in what their ideas were. He was interested in what those texts said. And he knew it. He had read all that stuff. He'd seen the ecstatic stuff. He coined the word entheogen.
Entheogen, yeah.
Right, that's from Greek, baby. He knows what he's doing. Exactly. So I think it's a little bit of an excuse, knowing that Jesus is around all this drug activity.
So you think it's a cop-out that he says Jesus was not a real person?
No.
It's a story.
Yeah.
He thinks it was a story.
Yeah. No, I think I don't think he even thinks it's a story. I wouldn't dare to think what's in that genius mind of his. But I know this. He's got to stay with the text. And it doesn't matter whether Jesus was real or not. If the texts are saying that Jesus was arrested in a public park with a naked kid and screaming, "I am not a child trafficker," right? I am not a child. Linguistically, he can go there. And I think he should. And he doesn't have to say whether. If he wants to believe Jesus is fake or real is irrelevant, right? He knows that. He's a philologist. He knows that. So I challenge you, my great master and Lord, Carl Ruck, please please say something about Jesus and the naked boy and the drugs that they're using. Please say something about a Christ. Tell us, you know Euripides.
He
You know it's
said-
a sex drug.
Another thing people like to say is that he wasn't a boy; he was a young man.
Yeah, a young man.
But I don't see the big deal. I don't see the big difference there.
The difference is the diminutive. It's not a neonias. A young man is a neonias.
Okay.
A neoniskos, that iskos suffix, is a diminutive. It means
Meaning he's owned.
You take the thing and you make it smaller. You make it young.
Like instead of saying el niño, niñito. Oh shit. Sorry, I forgot I had my mic low. Yeah, it's like a ito. Like el niñito, el negrito, instead of cachorro, which is cub, cachorrito, diminutive. I think there's a Russian equivalent. Vladimir, if it was Vladimirtsky or something.
My
little
paidi.
There's what's that Russian? It's in a Russian diminutive. Like say for like Alexander. Oh, Sasha. Oh no, but what, like the end of a word, like yeah, small or cute. Suffixes like ik, ek, ok.
Little man.
My little Paidiska is your little girl.
Okay.
Right.
Right. What where should we take the time machine next?
Yeah, I wanna-
Also,
okay,
Steve, do you want to turn the lights on, or is this good enough lighting for?
I mean,
This is
let's stick with what we got.
Okay.
I love the
Let's
vibe.
do it then. I'm going to tell you. What am I going to tell you? I'm
Makes
looking
me
at the
want to
word.
try a
I'm
candle
looking at the word
stream.
for have.
Maybe I should have a bunch of candles for my
Ration.
stream.
To bang somebody sexually. And who's it referring to? It's referring to Jesus and the little bits of questions of
Questions
Mary.
of Mary on the mountain.
Yeah. And it says that he wants her to receive his seed to be eaten. To be
Why does he
eaten.
talk like that?
And the beautiful thing about it is, because she's hesitant, he says, look, you just don't get things that are epi-urania, right? They're epuranian. And if you don't know what that is, that's a Greek word.
For?
Right? For that which is translated now as heavenly, but it is things that are based in urania. Let me tell you who Urania is. She is the one that you see when you look up. She is the queen of the Scythian band that uses the arrow poison to give them the inspiration to play the lyres. She's the huntress who is the Sotera. She is the earliest savior. And her mystery is the mystery that ultimately forms Christianity. And that mystery is what Jesus is reflecting here and saying, hey, you got to eat it or you're not going to have salvation, lady. And he's like, you don't believe me because you can't think on things that are epi-Urania. Lady, who's Urania? She's Aphrodite, you sexy beast. What do you think Mary Magdalene was for? You need a vagina because there are purple flowers in the world, people. There are purple flowers. Oh, by the way, the apostles didn't want to do it.
They didn't want to eat his.
No.
Why?
And they said it's
Well,
his
who would?
iskra. It's his. It's They acknowledged openly he wants us to eat directly his seed, his semen.
Why? And
I don't know. If you were a kid, would you want to eat?
no, but what was there any? Was it? He obviously wasn't an antidote because he wasn't a eunuch, right?
It was gonna save you. It was gonna give you.
What was the
ionic
pharmacological
vision?
How though?
Whatever's in his semen, baby.
What do you think was in his?
I don't know. I don't want to find out.
Neither do I.
Yeah, no. Fuck that, man. Bring these guys to justice, you know?
How could he have any sort of chemicals in his semen that would get you high?
Because they're using the body to process drugs.
Yeah, but he wasn't a boy though. You said the boys were doing that. They had to be young so that they could create the antibodies to be the Antichrist.
When he's with Mary, he wants her to eat his, and he uses very specific terms like fellatio.
Oh.
It's through the fellatio
He just
that
wanted
he's
to blow
getting. Yeah. You could be negative. You know?
I mean, just say
yeah.
you want a blow job. You don't have to pretend like your life is the Da Vinci Code. Just ask him for a blowy.
I think that's why the apostles were like, no. I think that's why they were passing. You got to think,
He's
though.
a cult leader.
He said that's why you don't understand heavenly things.
He's
I'm
a
sorry.
cult leader. He's trying to. The guy just wants sex and drugs, and he's trying to paint this mythical, this cosmic, godlike connection that he thinks he has to make people follow him, so he can get more sex and drugs.
He got baptized, baby. He got baptized by John. He was with the devil for 40 days, brother.
Real.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
You don't know because we haven't been initiated.
I can't. I have a hard time sometimes parsing through the poetry.
Yeah.
And the sword and what you're actually trying to say.
Yeah, he went.
He was
into
with the devil.
Eremon. Yeah, he was baptized and he went into the void.
Yeah. How does he not know that? Wait a minute. Everybody knows that. He what Jesus solitude in the desert, and he was tempted by the devil. But I don't think he spent a long time with them. He did spend some time. How long did Jesus spend with the devil? 40 days. Tempted by the devil. Yeah. That's a long time. The Spirit drove Jesus out into the desert, and he remained in the desert for 40 days. Was it actually after his baptism? Yeah, look at. After being baptized by John the Baptist, Jesus was tempted by the devil. That's this guy right here. Oh, not him. That's him. That's the devil. Right there. Right there, officer. Whoa, that's what it looked like? You think it's soft or coarse?
Baptized, baby. He got baptized by John. He was with the devil for 40 days, brother. Do you know what I mean?
No.
You don't know because we haven't been initiated.
I can't. I have a hard time sometimes parsing through the poetry.
Yeah.
And the sword and what you're actually trying to say.
Yeah, he went
He was
into
with the devil.
Eremon. Yeah, he was baptized and he went into the void.
Oh yeah, so he did drugs. He
Right.
performed a ritual, a mystery.
When he did the baptism, he saw Uranus open. Right? What do you see when you see Uranus open?
He met the devil.
You're epi-Urania.
So he got high.
Uranian.
He got high and he met the devil.
Yeah, it says that.
What still happens today?
Yeah.
You hear people talking about it all the time. I got too high. I saw the fucking devil.
Do you get blowjobs when you get high and meet the devil?
I wish.
You're
Once or twice.
You're probably a cult leader if you did. Wait, seriously, Danny? Shame on you.
Not when I'm in the depths of hell.
Right.
But maybe when I'm coming out of hell, or when I'm descending down into
Right.
hell. I've
Right.
participated in the rituals, but
No, you gotta suck those teats, man, or it's gonna kill you. That's why he's walking around telling you know, Jesus encouraged people to use drugs. And I say that and people are like, no, absolutely not. He encouraged people to use drugs. Where did he encourage them? He said, look, you're gonna hold up snakes. You're gonna drink this thanasimon, this death inducer, which is a cult compound. Nero's got the friggin' formula for it. Do you understand? This is a big deal in antiquity.
yes.
And he's involved in this stuff. Jesus Christ is involved in this stuff. He's even got the poison
Christ.
garments. Right? He does what those who were Christed do. He casts out demons.
So you also said on the first podcast, you mentioned that when Jesus was caught in the park, he was high as fuck.
Yes.
He was tripping balls.
Correct.
Cops captured him.
Yep.
And he was crucified 8 hours later.
Yeah.
He was captured at 4,
I don't know
crucified
if it was a full 8. I don't know if it was full 8 hours, but by like 3 o'clock, he's dead.
3 o'clock. He's
So
dead. And
I
he
think
was
it's noon. He starts getting
he
crucified.
died early.
Yeah.
Right.
He died prematurely.
And
right?
they offered, and he screamed. He was screaming
Right.
out. Some people say
Yeah.
he was singing.
Yeah.
And somebody offered him. His followers were trying to give him a sponge or something full of vinegar.
Correct.
And you say that Nonus wrote about that vinegar being an antidote to the horned African viper.
He says it's an antidoton. So he uses the Greek word antidote for the deep sass, which is identified as the North African horned viper.
Okay, let's put a pin right there.
Because of its symptom that it causes, that is extreme thirst.
Right.
When he's on the cross, he's screaming, I am thirsty. And there is a document. The reason that Nonus is telling us this is the Geoponica also shows that the word that you and I are translating vinegar is the word for the antidote commonly for the specific snake venom that is used in their religious rites. Jesus is pushing those very same drugs in the Gospel of Mark.
When was Nonus? Who was Nonus?
Yeah, fifth.
Fifth Anno
Yeah.
Domini?
AD, and he is an author of a work called The Paraphrase of John, and he's an expert grammarian. We don't have these anymore, but they're called grammatikoi. And he was able to reproduce this ancient form of Homeric dactylic hexameter. He's able to bring it down because it's the cult language. He brought it down to the fifth into the sixth.
And he quite literally wrote about that vinegar being the specific word for the antidote for the viper venom.
He actually wrote, you can look it up, it's in a work called The Paraphrase of the Gospel of John.
The paraphrase of the gospel.
Where he goes through the whole Gospel of John and he explains to you what's going on. He writes it in his own beautiful, lofty
Greek?
Greek. It's not Attic Greek. It's Homeric. And the fact that he could master their vocabulary on top of his own is quite dramatic.
In the 5th century.
Yeah, he's doing this late. But he says it's an antidote, which the Geoponica, which is a Byzantine farming manual, it actually has the recipe for it, and it says the vinegar, and then it treats the dipsass and blah blah blah. So I'm not making that up. That's in there. And
so does anybody else who's read that? I imagine Ruck has read that, right? He's read Nonus.
Why would he have read the Geoponica?
I don't know.
Yeah, you
Is
could
that not
send
a
it
common thing for classicists to read?
No, totally.
Where did you
uncommon.
find it?
Dr. John Scarborough put me onto it.
Okay.
He said, "Hey, get this Byzantine text." I was like, "Why's that?" He's like, "It's full of drugs." I was like, "Good." So yeah, and it has the whole explanation of what the vinegar is and what it does. So when Jesus is up there going, "Oh, I'm so thirsty," right?
But so
You read them.
he was translating John's gospel. And the way John wrote was not complex. It was very primitive, right?
No.
And John wrote it in what language?
Greek.
In Greek. But
It's Greek.
Was Nonus's Greek better than John's?
Nonus's Greek was a
more detailed?
Think of it as if it's two guitarists, it's somebody who's a master of a guitar. Compared to somebody who is, proficient and able to perform in bars, but is never going to take a stage of a group and infatuate 100,000 people, because of their level of artistic, gain. That's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with somebody who's, and you get that. There's all sorts of different sources. Some of them, look, I'm sorry, you read the Aristotle. It makes you feel stupid, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're not as smart as Aristotle. I'm not. I don't think anybody else around us is, to be quite honest. So, you see that reflected in the language gives them that sword, that sharp sword to be able to use, to be able to bring you some kind of ecstasy. Right? Why are we so far behind? Why are we just hearing about emperors on drugs? Why are we just hearing about the sex industry, the kink in antiquity? You know what I can do? This is what the word is. Give me a eunuch. What do you do with eunuchs? You don't even know. You
sell them. You trade them.
Yeah. What
you can get the antidote with them.
If you buy some. If you and I go out tonight with Steve and we're like, let's get 2 eunuchs. Okay? What are we going to do with those eunuchs?
You tell me.
No, what do you want to do? I don't know.
I don't want 2 eunuchs.
It was your idea. If you're going to do this and we commit, I don't want to be there and you're like, oh, I don't know.
I'm not committing to 2 eunuchs. I'm not going to do that. I don't need the eunuchs. I don't need an antidote.
But let's just say it's the world. Just a thought experiment.
Okay. Let's do a thought experiment. Okay.
Yeah, 2 eunuchs.
I hope somebody clips this out of context.
We're going to bring these 2 eunuchs back here. Right? And I have some things I want to do with them. Right? What would you like to? Just as we're producers. We're going to bring this thing forward. Right? Now you know why performing the mysteries was highly illegal. Right? It's only the priesthood that's allowed to do this. Right? That's why they protect it.
You couldn't do it recreationally. You couldn't perform a mystery at your house.
Because it turns into a child ring.
What?
And remember, you're protecting oracles, baby. You have to have a priesthood that puts up a legal shield.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So tell me why we need the eunuchs.
Oh, okay. Well, what can you do with the eunuch?
You can extract their bodily fluids.
Some of them you can. Some of them, but before you don't just jump in to extracting body fluids. My God, man. Romance this thing.
Sorry.
We can take off their testicles. The first thing that we do, you grab that.
They're already eunuchs.
8.
Exactly.
That's fun.
Oh, okay.
Right? Okay, get beyond the castration. Fine. So we castrate our eunuchs, and then their body becomes a vessel of nectar. And there are ways
Whoa.
you can give people drugs and have them produce certain substances
Oh,
that can then
shit.
be harvested from the person. Right? Drugs straight out, right? And the eunuch, you can collect from that eunuch his milk. Right? I don't say it looks like milk. They don't. They describe it and it's serous. Just like that girl with the grape-sized breasts that Galen talks about. And the serous exudate that comes out of her breasts that they're using. Right? That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. They're talking about transforming. Can you capacitate? Look, I had this down here. Right after Jesus' education, I was going to talk about, can you capacitate somebody with drugs? You've got to remember the societies that we're talking about will also base what they're doing on the idea that you can use drugs to take yourself to a better state. Your mind, your soul, everything. Right? So the drug is very much the mysterion, is very much the mystery, so much so that Galen says, hey, you realize so-and-so has his mysterion and it's called blank. Right? So the word mystery itself becomes a drug term. So I think that's the only thing I can add to Dr. Brooke standing in the breach.
Right.
With his giant tools of doom in his fingers and his linguistic, his brain, and his heart. He's a good man. Yeah.
What about Nero's death inducers?
Yeah. They're paired with the theriac.
When was Nero?
First century, middle of the first century.
Middle of the first, and he, what was his position? Who was he?
He was emperor, and he was a little bit, he did some strange things. He got the power, and he was like, dude, I am totally taking it out on everybody. Everybody was gonna pay. You know what I mean? And he married a little boy, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. I'm sure you looked that up. But his arch physician had a theriac combo that has the drug that is the death inducer, the thanasimon, paired with the galene that's antidote, and he's got the whole recipe. It's
is it similar to the theriac, to Galen's theriac?
Yeah, it is Galen. It's not Galen's theriac. It's one of the theriacs that Galen talks about, because there's a whole bunch of them. It's not the one that he's got Marcus Aurelius on.
Right.
Right. That one's making. People are going to research this now. I heard this is making a little bit of headway. Right? Because people just read the document that talks about Marcus Aurelius and the theriac that he was taking, the drug combo that he was taking. Right? And it's written there in Galen, and Galen's talking about he's doing a lot better on it. So people are going to read that.
He's looking better.
Yes. Regenerative. Love it.
Because Marcus Aurelius was on the dope.
He was a hophead. Yeah, hophead. Doing his opium, and people.
Now the theriac had like a bunch of different viper venoms, viper flesh.
Right.
Had opium.
Right.
All kinds of animal and plant products.
Right. And
mixed
terrible
into
stuff.
it, and it was supposed to be like a panacea, right?
Yes. But most importantly, people think, the theriac is a drug that you take that makes you invincible. Gives you that ultimate health, gives you that fountain of life. No. It's not. The theriac is one half of one circle, and the other half of the circle is the death bringer.
Yes.
And together they work to open up that portal to get you to the other side and back. So that's where the cult finds the knowledge. Know yourself. I got this stuff written all over the place, right? Yeah. Oh.
So what was so special about Nero's death inducers?
You know, from Galen's perspective, what was special is the fact that the formula is written in this, you know, it's a dactylic hexameter again. So this thing is coming from a genuine source, right? You talk about who are the sources that preceded these people. We're talking about people like Nicander, who's that priest. People need to be introduced to the ancient priest. They don't know him or her, right? And he or she, what are they known for above all else? They're guitar players, baby. They're guitar players. They're sexy, sexy guitar players. And they are going to be able to retune you. They're going to do it, and they have rights to do it. Do you understand? They're going to make something of you. And when you come back from this experience, you will know yourself. So this is healing. This is healing, right? And the monist virus swarmed in and shut it down. That's the type of purging that you need. You need your people to purge, or else you get tyranny.
Yes, yeah. Do you think there's something about the human brain that was something through evolution that wired the human brain to be dependent on a higher power? Something deep inside our brain, something ancient that has built this dependency on a higher power.
I think definitely the proof is in the design. The proof is in the design. If you can go into the human body, this shocked me. As you can tell, this was part of my awakening when I was a graduate student at Madison. And I was taking my microbiology courses. And I realized, oh my God, there are receptors for cannabis in your brain. It makes no sense. It's completely contrary. Unless you should be having cannabis, it makes no sense to have a receptor there for it. It makes no sense. And I realized in studying that inner part of the system that carries that fluid, that water of life that I talked about before, and sitting right there above that hypothalamus, just dreaming those chemicals, just dropping those chemicals in there. I realized there's something that's controlling. There's something in the culture that controls. And it's what Julian, I think, the apostate said. That Christianity has a tendency, monism has a tendency to put control. And those drugs are beyond the control. The true Bacchic freedom is beyond.
Well, we are drugs. Human beings, animals, we're drugs. We're walking bags of drugs, of chemicals that are constantly fluctuating in their balance. We're never in a one particular state. Our state is always going up and down like waves, like depending on what our cortisol level is, our hormonal levels, like it's and every plant and animal and human being is a producer of DMT. We all have, everything has DMT in it. Everything. Our brains, our lungs. First of all, how do you make something illegal that is in everything?
Right. Yeah, right. It seems like it should be ethically wrong. It's like making H2O illegal. You can't do that, dude.
Right.
We're all based on it.
So your higher power is that muse. Your higher power is the muse.
Definitely. Oh, I'm so glad. I don't know if I'm capable of receiving such an honor to say that. You know, the earliest temples, those Greeks with their gorgeous language, it was coming to a peak. The temples that they built were temples to the muse beforehand. It took me a while until I saw in a cellular biology course, until I saw her write the story of what was going on with the dance of everything. I was like, oh God. Right. And then I was like, hello. Right. Love it. You got to dance, baby. You got to dance. That's all there is to it. Well, why else are you living, Danny? Why are you here? Right? She's the one pushing you. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, seriously. Feed me.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to ask you about was Caligula.
Yeah.
Who's Caligula?
Caligula was guy who was supposedly was pretty good. He's an emperor early first, and he comes in and he does pretty good to start with, but next thing you know, he's got senators up on the table and he's sticking his hand up to his elbow in their anus. Yeah. Why would you do that? They say it's because he had a fever. I think that's an excuse. It's like the dude got COVID, and next thing you know, he's fisting senators.
Yeah, what was going on with that? He was sick for a long time.
Yeah. Prolonged fever. Probably messed up his brain.
He didn't try the Theriac?
Apparently he didn't get enough of it or something, because he took a dive, and when he came back, he was in the mood for fisting. Some people might say he did it on purpose. You know, Tiberius has little boys who are eunuchs. We were talking about eunuchs and what you can do with them. Mm-hmm. They can swim. I would like to go swimming. I would like to design. I am Tiberius. I am the emperor. I have an island. It's called Capri. And on that island is goats. Get it? It's Goat Island. You know why? You can go to grottos on the island, and there's 9 to 13-year-old boys. There's 9 to 13-year-old boys there. And the same age girls. Prepubescent. And they will do what it will take to heal you. Yeah. You may get killed in the process. You may get killed, or somebody may have to get thrown over the cliff. You know how they deal with people on the island? Yeah, what do you do when she gets pregnant? Because this is a big deal. He's got to staff this whole island. You thinking Epstein? Epstein is backwards and tiny, right? Compared to what Tiberius was doing. He supplies his island full of kids of all ages. It says that he has a penchant for the babies who have not yet stopped drinking from the breast. Oh, yeah. And the reason for this is because he's going to take that baby and he's going to put that baby on something. And he's going to take that baby when he's done and throw it over the cliff.
Tiberius.
Yeah. He has little kids, little eunuchs.
This is in what, the first?
Yeah, first. This is when Jesus is alive, baby. This is who's ruling when Jesus is alive. That's why the kid is such an important connection. When Jesus says, I'm not a trying kids, he's trying to separate himself, right? He's caught red-handed, to be honest, because he's caught next to a naked kid, right, by a SWAT team. That's pretty much that pretty much sealed the deal, right? But you take your eunuch and you make your eunuch swim. This is the fun thing you can do. Look, just swim. I'm going to go swimming. And every time I go swimming, I want you to swim by me, right? Like you're surrounding me. And I want you to go in and I want you to take little nibbles of my genitalia. Okay, nothing to hurt me. Just little nibbles. Right? A little nibble of the genitalia. You know what the Baptists are doing? The same thing, baby. You are getting people. I brought the word for you. You're getting people used to the idea of performing on you. That's why you need disciples. Right? I need you to eat this seed. Do you understand? There's a reason that you have to do it. Now, Tiberius takes it to the nth degree, to where he's, he's staffing a whole island full of prepubescent boys and girls. And on this island, you can go find the grottos of the nymphs, if that's your thing. If that's your thing, you've got to be careful. But if that's your thing, that's your thing. And those nymphs will do what they need to do. So let's have a party with all of the senators. Let's get them all here, and let's put them in their place. And this is a tactic. It's a tactic. People think, oh my God, it's power, baby. If you can f*** the senator, imagine. Trump thinks he's powerful, right? Right? I don't see him f***ing anybody. Okay? When
yeah, you don't see it, but you never know. He could be doing it behind closed doors.
Let me say this so that it makes it meets its mark.
Okay.
Right? When Nancy Pelosi right, is watching Donald Trump fist her husband in front of the entire Senate like it's a big dinner party, by the way. We can do this at Mar-a-Lago if you want.
Okay.
Right, we can do it. Right, if he hasn't thought of this, let's put the thought in his head right now. Right? Just pure satanic.
I think he'll watch this.
Energy. You think so? Yeah. Right, what you have to do is you have to find Melania, get inside her. Right. Where do you go to get that? You got to get inside their head, and you have to penetrate that dream. This is how the Magi are working. Why? Because their eyes are open, Danny. When you start to interact with the outside, apparently you get some kind of knowledge. That knowledge can be cataloged over years of people's experience. That's what the priests are doing. And they're creating a pathway for you to be able to navigate. Right? So, I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe once you blast off with that DMT or whatever the hell it is, combination of shit, and they give you the scorpion venom and got the stuff going on, and you die and you come back. Maybe it turns on some kind of observational power you've got.
It does something that rewires your brain. It gives you a different perspective on stuff.
Maybe that's where you're supposed to be. Maybe like that is human. Maybe that's human.
Yeah.
You know? And the rest of us are zombies.
Well, it makes sense. Like when they talk about Eleusis being a portal to another world, but like if Eleusis was this place where people could go experience these drugs and have the experience of dying and being born again and going to this other dimension, which is an earth-shattering experience. It sounds just like a DMT or a mushroom trip, and if you can put a walled garden around it and make it a secret where you're not allowed to talk about it, and you have to pay to bring your goat or whatever and sacrifice to be able to come here.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
You could absolutely convince people that they are meeting the gods.
Hearing the voice of God.
Because that's exactly what it is. Unless you have some sort of scientific explanation, you know, where you like we have today, where people try to explain. I mean, we still, even today, people don't know what's happening on DMT. There's theories of what, you know, some people say that it's the brain. The brain is a filter that's filtering out what's really here in our reality, and the brain is filtering the things that we need to be able to perceive in order to survive. And when these drugs break that down and they show you what's really there. You know, that's the theory that people think that that's what's going on. I mean, there's people that are trying to study doing extended state DMT trips to try to figure out what exactly is going on there, because we don't know. Is it inside of our brains? Is it just some sort of chemical thing that's happening inside of our heads that is giving us this experience? Or is it outside? We still don't know today. So thousands of years ago, it's totally plausible that they thought that they were going to hell or going to heaven and being initiated into something spiritual. And if you can have some sort of a structure around that, some sort of cult structure where there's a leader who decides, you know, who is able to be initiated.
Yeah. Especially if there's sexuality in the mystery.
Yeah.
If somebody wants you to
especially if you're doing something, I mean, I don't know if that, even when that was happening, was that the sexual stuff, was that frowned upon?
No, completely contemporary.
It was contemporary. It was a ubiquitous thing.
Jesus, yeah, the O-fights, yeah, eat my baby. Right, it's basically a blood cult.
Yeah,
right, and they're right in line with Christianity. They're doing the same thing. It's why Jesus was frowned upon when they were like, "Hey, do you want this murderer?" And they're like, "No way, get that pedo." Right? And people don't see that. The history is way more. That's why I'm calling the bluff on any ism that anybody's got where they want to make Jack. right? Don't believe the stories. Go to the text. What do the texts say? Look at that and see what they say. This one says Jesus was giving his penis to Mary, God, to put in her holy mouth.
What was that? The study you sent me from the University of Tampa, where they found a mug, an ancient mug, and they thought that there was breast milk and drugs mixed together.
Ejaculate, female vaginal proteins. It said.
Can you find that, Steve? There's an article that just came out from University of Tampa about an Egyptian mug.
Best jar. It was visiting them, and they were looking at it, and they did some chemical analysis and found vaginal proteins. Oh God. Give me some of that best jar.
Vaginal protein?
Yeah. How do you do that, man?
There it is. Ancient Egyptian mug at the Tampa Museum of Art once held psychotropic drugs, human blood, and bodily fluids. Research reveals.
I told you. Look at Bess. Look at that. Oh, God. Those Egyptians with their dirtiness.
Keep going down. Bess. Who is Bess?
Oh, some Egyptian deity. I don't know.
Egyptian deity.
Something to do with sex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Get an Egyptologist in here. God damn it.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah.
And when was this published? This was published recently, I think.
Recently, just like they did the hair. The hair
you just passed
from
it, Steve.
Menorca.
It's up,
Right?
up, way up, above the text.
With the drugs.
Below the photo, above the text.
Below the photo.
There you go. October 29th, 2023. About a year ago.
Yeah. And supposedly they did the chemical analysis on it. And, people are surprised. Oh, it's got vaginal stuff in it, body fluids. Love it, baby. Why do you think you drink out of her purpled flowers? That's what makes you a god. They sang about it. You can take a vagina. Oh, God. Let's do it. Let's
They
just go ahead and
censored
do
a vagina.
You can take a vagina and you can turn it into a reservoir of the water of life. And when you find your purpose, then the muse will sing.
So gay.
Are you kidding me?
What does that mean?
Yeah. Oh, they put purple on their vagina. The burning purple is one of the cult drugs they're using. There's a whole trade behind it. There's a whole economy behind it and everything. And people are just now discovering and are rediscovering. Oh, the purple. Right? Good. They're using it. And they're rights, baby. Those purple fingers. You know what happens when you get purpled? You hear voices. Who wants to hear voices? Yeah. It's God. And Mary hears her and it hears him and it makes her pregnant. Oh my God, give her the old man with the rod. They actually gave her away. It's amazing. What do you do with the priestesses? You see how it can be turned into a market?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Everybody went running when they offered Mary, who's 12. Here, you got to take her. She's pregnant with God's baby. Here she goes. They auctioned her off. Dudes are willing. They want her. It's not an auction. It's you put in your rod. Whoever rod gets her, they take her away, right?
Like a raffle?
Yeah, it's a raffle, right? It's a raffle. But they're doing a lot of raffling. They do that in the Temple. The prophets do it. You don't know this. You're going to see it in the Septuagint because you don't really read the Greek. All these pikers who come up here and say, this is kind of Greek and bullshit. You don't really read the Greek. I can tell by listening to you. Right? They're using the lots, what you and I call the sortes, in the temple. Whenever they want to figure out what God's opinion of something is, they go cast lots. Yeah, it's a way of reading God. Right? So when they give him, who should we give the virgin to? Who should we give her to? Because now she's 12 and pregnant with God's baby. Who do we give her to? They call her Mary Purple Fingers. Who do we give her to? We have a lot, and God ultimately tells us. We have prophets who do this in the Septuagint. They go into the temple, and it says in the text, I entered into a state of ecstasy, and I heard the voice of God saying X, Y, and Z. And God wanted me to do this. How do I know? Because I cast the lots, and that's what he said for me to do. Yeah. This is not Moses and Marlon Brando, or no, what's his name? Charlton Heston and all that.
Right.
This is the reality of the anthropology. This is what the texts show. Imagine, you and I are talking about eunuchs. We don't have any eunuchs to dig up, right, who can tell their stories. But we know how they were using them through these guys like Tiberius and through this guy, Jesus Christ, who's walking around telling you and your children, blessed are the eunuchs, for the kingdom of heaven. Yeah. He's just not sophisticated enough to throw him over the cliff, right?
How many times have you read the Bible?
Oh God, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know because I use it all the time and I'm reading it very, very frequently.
Really?
Very, very frequently. Like, oh God, if I get through a week without reading at least
book
2 or 3 books of the Septuagint and New Testament, then something's wrong because I consult that literature frequently. Yeah. And I love to read it backwards. The best way to read the Apocalypse is to read it backwards.
Why is that?
Because it was designed that way.
It was designed backwards?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
It was
It was what?
It was reverse engineered. The climax, right, was punctured itself into another universe. Boom. Gave you the apocalypse. Why are they doing these things? The first time I noticed this was when I was reading the PGM.
The magical Greek papyri.
The Greek magical papyri. And they have these words that will mirror, and all of a sudden you're reading backwards. You're reading forwards and backwards, right? The people who are involved in all of this high-tech drug stuff that are entering people, I mean, they've that knowledge to be able to castrate you, you also have to have that knowledge of which drugs do what to the body.
Yeah.
And how you can manipulate. What was...
Nazi drugs.
Oh, God. How you can manipulate somebody's, what you and I would say, their mind.
Manipulate their mind.
Yeah, that's what the craft of the Magi. And that's why they do the interrogations and all that kind of stuff. It's like a legal, they have a certain legal clout and tradition. Because they're able to, think about the people who traveled. Pythagoras goes to Egypt and to Persia just to learn the drugs that they're using. Right. And think about the clout that you have, the dictators or kings, tyrants, whatever you want to call them, have entire boards of magi that they consult. And one of the favorite things that you and I can all consult is the eunuch and the chief eunuch and his eunuchs, like Daniel. Because these are the prophets. They're able to see, right? They've been given the gift of vision. This is nothing new. It's all over the Mediterranean, bro. Right? It's all there. And that gift is given through that serpent combo that's wound around that staff. Yeah, and that is the theriac and the death inducer. So if you'd been there, you'd understand. You wouldn't have to sit here, breathe it. Oh my God! Right?
Were there any stimulants? Did they have cocaine and heroin back then?
Get me out of
Or
here.
did they only have psychedelics?
No, the cocaine is not there, right? That's a new.
They didn't
world.
have coca?
They had stimulants, but they didn't have coca, right? That's a new world drug.
Okay.
But very famously in it's not Empedocles, it's one of his buddies. Oh, I'll think of his name in a minute. He walked around with a stimulant that he got from a root and grated it really fine. It was like a powder. And he would very famously snort the stimulant. And he capped it in his favorite Colt, C-O-L-T, Colt Hoof. Colt Hoof, right? Make that thing come alive, man. I'm looking at its tiny pee-pee. He capped it in a hoof.
You keep the top on.
From a Colt. C-O-L-T. And
Colt.
Yeah, I think so. And he would sniff it. It was either that or a cow. I don't know. He would sniff it. And it would cause him to be able to, among other things, time travel.
Time travel?
Yeah.
With a stimulant?
Yeah.
Whoa.
They would do it in caves. And people would end up getting older. And you get these lifespans. If you don't believe me, check out the lifespan of...
Alrighty. I'm logging off. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to watch the rest of this video, here's the link for the Danny Jones podcast. It's pretty interesting. I love these type of podcasts. Kooky people. All right. I don't know. I'm probably not going to stream tomorrow, but who knows? Monday, I'm going to stream Raw and Kill Tony. All right. Peace in the Middle East.
I won't let you have the satisfaction of catching me. I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been rocked